It's the morning after, Baldo Bros. Like last night, we got some insane revelation straight from Aaron Imholt's mouth. That's right. Steel Toe Morning Show came
This is a
on.
reminder.
Alexa, stop.
Cardio. This is a reminder. Do cardio.
Steel Toe Morning Show came on and talked at length about Rakeda. He came out and described in lucid detail what is going on with behind the scenes. Now, my belief is that like not everything he says in this stream is true. I actually haven't watched the stream yet. As a bit of a disclaimer, I read a summary of it on Kiwi Forums. I've seen like a handful of people come out and talk about the things that were said and like the allegations. I can't co-sign any of this until we watch it ourselves. So I thought like, okay, let's take the time to look at Aaron's claims live and see if we can like fact check any of them. There's definitely a handful of things I already like am fairly certain are not true, but again, we're not going to know until we investigate it. So this is the morning after stream in which we investigate the happenings of last night. We fact check it after the fact. Yeah, 5.5 hours. Oof. I don't know if we can do it. I don't think he has like. I don't think he was on the entire time. So we'll see if he comes on and we'll see what he says. Oh, hang on. What is that doing over there? All right. All right, everything's good. Everything's good. All right.
Okay.
Okay, we can skip that, I'm sure.
Chance here. Live with John. Minnesota.
It's past 11:30. You promised me you'd look for a job today. Get your ass up and get dressed.
Oh, hang on. Did I actually switch the I did not. I forgot. Let's see. Windows capture. I completely forgot to switch the thing. Ah, there we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kino Casino
Bros.
for May 26, 2024.
Ash.
Oh, what a few days it has been since last we were live with Josh
Crazy
Moon.
couple of
Retweet.
days, yeah.
Everyone,
Hasn't it
for
been,
real.
folks?
Retweet.
Hasn't it been quite a few wonderful fucking days?
I need 100 RTs.
Full news report. Yes. Before we get into anything,
Retweet.
we need retweets on the tweet that's pinned. We need you to subscribe to the clip channel because
Yes.
this is all going to be clipped up afterwards.
Hit like
Whatever
on
the
everything.
clip, yeah.
We're getting over
Hit
300
like on
subs a
everything,
day.
But we get the article. We get the Fox News 9 article.
Bro.
Regional Minnesota News confirming Rakeda lives in a slovenly, disgusting, moldy, dirty, festering crack den. Just a filthy drug den, clothes all over the place, dirty
Mold.
dishes, mold, filth on the floors. It was looking like the cockroaches crack shack, folks. This is what Nick Rakeda was living in.
At
With
least
his
Cog.
5 children. At least Cog didn't have children.
No, at least
Living in the
Cog.
festering, shitty fucking mess rackets.
Right?
What the fuck is
Buddy,
wrong with this bum?
When I
They
read
couldn't
that
even be bothered-
article.
But could we even be surprised? He couldn't even be bothered to feed his kids SpaghettiOs, folks.
Mhm.
So why are we surprised
Negative.
he couldn't even be bothered to clean up the filth of the drug den? Or his wife take even 5 minutes out of her Xanax-fueled Star Trek day to fucking clean the mess of the filthy crack den? Disgusting. Children living there. Rakeda endangering his child by refusing to open the door for law enforcement.
Yeah,
even
yeah.
though they-
That is like the thing that like I think more than anything right now that's to me, this really indicates like how terrible of a person Rekieta actually is, right? He sent his daughter to answer the door for the cops, right? He knew they were coming for a bust. He knew they wanted in, but he refused to let them in. He tried to have his daughter turn them away, but no. Eventually, they broke the door down. Like, how big of a piece of shit do you have to be to do something like that? That alone makes me hate his guts. Like, that alone makes me just I'm very, very upset about this. I was concerned about the state of the children to begin with, but like over the past couple of months, it feels like we've learned a lot about how they actually live. You know, being fed SpaghettiOs by Aaron, and now this. Like, to me, it's appalling. It really is. And this is just the stuff we know about. Like, it's probably a lot darker than we understand. But anyway,
they had a warrant to where they broke down, they rammed down.
Yeah, so they had a warrant. So none of this crap from Rekieta about like, go get a warrant. Like, they got a warrant because there was a lot of things going on in that house that needed to be dealt with. So again, I'm really curious what Nick's cope for this is going to be, because I know he's on Instagram right now trying to tell people that, like, you don't understand. You don't know the whole story. Like, come on. We know enough, okay? Like, again, take responsibility for what you did, okay?
The door in his little daughter's face. She like 12 years old? This is Rekieta's choices. This is the man that Nicholas fucking Rekieta is. A dirty fucking junkie. He had a dirty fucking filthy polycule mistress around his fucking kids. It's all confirmed. He's a scumbag. He's a fucking lowlife. And a lot of people out there right now are babying this man.
Yes.
Powdering his eyes.
Yes. I am full on agree. Right? This is the thing that, like, angers me the most right now, other than, like, the whole kid thing. Like, why is every single YouTuber coming out trying to say that, like, it's not that bad? Like, I saw the Quartering do it. I saw, like, Memology 101 act surprised, I don't know who else. But, like, yeah, basically everyone in the sphere came out and were just like, we had no idea this was happening. We had no idea that was going on. Bro. Nick was going out in public on LSD. Okay, he was turning up to events live, like high as a kite, drinking. Steel Toe Morning Show, like, when Nick did that comedy bit, the stand-up show, Steel Toe was there, and then they did a show afterward. Like, Nick got up at 8 in the morning and he took a drink. Like, he was drinking, like, really early in the morning. Like, they were talking about this. Like, this is typical behavior that anyone who's been around Nick Rekieta for any length of time should be able to notice. And yet everyone turned a blind eye to it because they desperately wanted to grift, right? Rekieta's name was gold for a long time, and these people were unwilling to distance themselves from him for that reason.
Putting the, it's okay. Isn't it so sad? Shouldn't we feel bad for him? Guys, we should cut him some slack. No, not on this fucking show. He's getting
what an absolute shadow.
Fucking mercy elsewhere.
May I?
No mercy in this casino for Rekieta. There's a child abuse neglect charge. Either physical or sexual abuse.
May I say one thing?
I'm going to get physical abuse instead of sexual abuse. But when you have to cop the plea to either or, and the lesser of two evils is that we beat our kids, or that we didn't feed them, or that we exposed them to drugs, guess fucking what? It's not good.
Let's go! You're right, Ashton.
It's filth. Are you kidding me?
Fuck you, uncivil law.
This is what we're supposed to accept.
Uncivil
that
law
it was
is
wrong,
scum.
That it was wrong.
I think I might have had, like, an interaction with Uncivil, by the way. Like, I called Rekieta out in a comment section that he was in, and he, like, responded to me. Like, I don't remember what it was about. I'm gonna have to like see if I can dig it up. But like, I can go through my comment history and see if I can find it. But like, yeah, like I can confirm Uncivil is scum.
For the priest to report that children were living in a drug den of
Chad
filth?
Priest, Chad Priest,
This fucking
Chad Wolf, the
household,
priest.
The pastor is a hero.
Yeah!
That was BBB.
He might have saved those children's lives. Let's be real. He might have actually saved Ricada and Kayla's fucking lives as well.
He did.
And the lives of April.
Yep.
Because these motherfuckers.
I mean, I've confirmed this already, but I was seriously considering like reporting them myself because of the things I was seeing. Like, again, I never, I was on the verge of doing it. I swear I was, and this absolute Chad beats me to the punch. Yeah, Chad Dickwolf, the pastor. So let's all like give it one to that guy.
Were insane.
Cat,
They had an ounce of
daily,
cocaine,
drinking,
ketamine,
guns,
drinking,
spent shells.
What are we fucking talking about here? They have spent gun shells on the floor. They're either one, shooting off guns, fucked out of their mind, drunk and high, in a house with 5 children, or 2, they're taking the fucking gunpowder and mixing it with cocaine. Like some sort, like seriously, like some sort of fucking African warlord, like fucking like junkies that are fucking insane. What are we doing here, folks?
Ash, for real. Okay, look. All right. So first of all, Aaron is from Steel Toe Morning Show. Will be here soon, right? Hear this. Now, by the way, he's ready to reveal everything. And this
allegedly.
He's gonna be on soon.
Okay, I have my finger pressed over the X button. I'm not sure how much of this I'm willing to believe. Like, I've seen Kiwi Farms say that like 90% of it is accurate. I'm willing to say like 50 to 60%. I think people are like overlooking a lot of critical aspects. Again, I haven't seen the clip, but I've seen the summaries. But again, like we'll get to this. My hot takes on this when we actually get to it.
But hear this, dude. The police report does not do what was happening at the House Justice. He said, Andy, I'm ready to expose every little thing tonight.
Good.
You know what? And I was say
he's ready. He's ready.
Look, there will be some hardballs towards him, obviously. But I'll say one thing. At least the motherfucker got out and did the right thing. At least the motherfucker. Look, we've all done fucking stupid shit.
Yeah, that's my first thing. Like, no. Like, he was doing this like for 6 months at least. Well, 4 months, right? Like, they started in like October when they were hanging out with them. Like, again, I think people are giving Aaron way too much credit. Like, he is absolutely taking advantage of like Ricada's retardation. I think people are not aware of just how manipulative and like just conniving Steel Toe is, right? Like, I'm not aware, but I've caught him like in lies several times in my forays into his shows, right? Like, again, like just look at how he treats his wife, right? Like, just look at how, like, to me, what seems like it's happening is that he's trying to make April and the Ricadas look like the bad guys so that during his divorce proceedings he can like show the judge like, oh, look at this, my wife left me for this polyamorous couple. And then again, I suspect like there's like a real strategy to what he's doing. Like, at the very least, he's like grifting off the situation too. Like, this is the most popular Steel Toe has ever been, for sure. Like, and he's really thriving off the attention. And I really, really think people are giving him too much of the benefit of the doubt at this stage. Like, obviously, I don't expect that to last, but already, like, there are lots of things I want to bring up in this, from what I understand of the situation, that need to be addressed. But yeah, like, first of all, like, confirmed, we already know this, like, Steel Toe admits in this clip that he did commit several crimes. Okay? At the very least, like, he was very complicit in this until I think April left him. I think that was the big catalyst for like the big flip. Because like people forget, I can attest to this because he he did a response video to me like criticizing him and the Rekitas. Like he was nose guarding for a really long time up until April left him, right? Which was not all that long ago. Like what has it been? Like a month and a half? Like I don't remember the exact date, but like yeah, he was like doing a lot of damage control for Rekieta for a long time. We'll have to like double check and see like what he did exactly, but we'll get back on that. But anyway,
in our lives. And, you know, I've been at that phase where you're on drugs, you're all fucked up. But at least he woke up and was like, you know what? This has to stop. I'm going to fucking try to, like, make things right. And I respect that. I got to respect that.
I mean, the truth
Seriously.
will set you free, Aaron. Once you get it all off your chest, once it's all out there in the world, you will have done the right thing. And I'm just saying, guys, let's give him a chance here.
Yes.
Let's give him a chance to speak the truth, to embarrass Rekieta, to destroy him.
Yes.
Because right now, I'm telling you this. We're actually in danger of seeing the public narrative become that Rekieta was the victim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Already, LawTube is trying to either blame it on the pastor, which is insane, or even worse, blame it on the children.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Okay, I didn't see that. Like, I've seen people like criticize the pastor for this, but the kids? Yeah. I've been speaking out about LawTube for a long time. You know, that you can find like old videos on the channel talking about that. I think there was like one where I specifically denounced LawTube specifically, but that's been like something I've been pushing for a long time. Is that like, do not trust LawTube, right? Like they're not practicing lawyers. They're just trying to grift off of people. Like you should. Like again, there's no reason for this community to exist. Is my personal belief. They're not actually in court. They're not actually like doing things for people. They're not actually working. They're just grifters, and that needs to be more widely understood. It's not just Rekieta. It's not just the right wing space. It's like all of them. Okay, like they are all legals. So anyway,
like whoa.
May I say one thing too? I love this. Hey, LawTube. You fucking retards. A lot of the LawTube people are obviously talking about us. There's a few good ones. I'll say it right now. Sean, he did amazing job. And also, what's the one who wears the blue jacket?
It's the children's fault for going to the pastor because they were concerned.
Yeah, it's uncivilized.
It's the children's fault when they're not getting fed.
But hear this.
Go to a member of authority that they trust and say, we're not getting fed. We're getting beaten. Our parents can't get out of bed in the morning. This is what the scumbags of LawTube want to tell you. And I'm mad at the internet. I'm pissed. You should be pissed. These fucking scumbags are sweeping for the slightest crumb of clout. The slightest crumb of clout from Nikki Rekieta's table.
Yeah, base PPP like proving once again why he's the king of the sector right now. That is undeniably based.
They don't even give a fuck. They're just like, if I can make maybe $1 more by doing an interview with this guy, by sucking his balls, if I can get one more viewer, $1 more, I'll do it. The fucking shame. The shame that fucking piece of shit in Houston, that gelatinous fucking blob, uncivil law.
Scumbag.
How dare the fucking guy report it? So what? He's supposed to let the kids live in a drug den indefinitely?
It's filthy, moldy?
There's disgusting
full of guns
drugs
and coke and
everywhere. Fucking weird, like coke bullets, as Aaron's gonna testify to, left all around the fucking house.
In the couches with kids?
The couch cushions with kids around? Containers of coke? Really?
Not even a joke, by the way. But hear this, Ash.
It's sad.
I love these fucking pieces of shit. They go after people like us going, oh, these guys are drama farming. When meanwhile,
you know what?
You all...
We're honest. No. We're honest.
I haven't really been harassed myself, but I haven't been inserting myself into the center of it. I've been kind of just getting on the sidelines covering things. That's the way I prefer it. I really wanted to cover it live, like immediately, but I wasn't home at the time, and I decided to just kind of like wait and see what was going on. But yeah, like I 100% like can't co-sign this. like there were times that I was harassed, like especially early on. Like Nick and Drexel themselves came onto like one of my early videos and tried like doing damage control for something I was saying about like I don't know like the practice. I think I like addressed that he was a non-practicing attorney. I don't remember what I said exactly. It's like a really early Ricado retardation video. You can find it, but um like it was impossible to criticize Ricada for a long time. And I do think a big reason for that is just because of how influential he was in this sphere. There are a lot of lawyers who got started because of him, and they're unwilling to admit to themselves that if Nick goes down, if he loses his reputation, if he loses his credibility, they lose theirs along with it, right? Nobody is going to trust YouTube lawyers after this. Not that you ever should have, but like again, like the illusion has been shattered, and I do think that like the instant the bubble bursts, like there's not going to be any real recovery for it. Like I do think LawTube is now in a declining community because of what Ricada did.
What? Well, yes.
We're honest about it.
Well, yes.
We are drama farming, but you know what? We actually are doing more of what's righteous than what you guys are.
Yes.
Yep.
Because we were blowing the whistle. We were sounding the alarm. There's something not right here. Won't somebody intervene? Won't somebody do something? And every one of you LawTube bums didn't lift a single fucking finger to help this fucking family.
And now we're
to help the
shit.
children.
Look,
to help. No, we're the pieces
we're
of
pieces
shit,
of shit now
for
because
laughing at him, exposing it,
we're
telling him
exposing
to get fucking help. And there were speeches that I gave during this Ricade arc where it was like real, like come to Jesus, fire and brimstone preaching. Ricada, you have children. Ricada, you can't do this. Ricada, we care about you. Don't fucking burn it all down. And he didn't fucking listen.
Yeah.
He refused to listen. And even still, he defends his behavior. Even still, he's completely coping. He's telling all of you, me, you, everybody, you didn't see what you saw.
They did field tests.
They field tested it positive for cocaine.
And
an ounce of cocaine in the house. We see you a gaunt, shambling, drug-addicted zombie.
But Ash, hear how bullshit this is. They go, we're covering it, so we're pieces of shit for covering it. When meanwhile, they're doing speculation. What the fuck is LawTube? That's all you guys do is watch other people suffer and cover it. Shut the fuck up. You do the same shit.
No better
That's your
than
job.
anybody else.
That's your job.
That's what they do. That's
what
they do.
Oh, how about this? Oh, fucking when Amber Heard, that case. Fuck Amber Heard before she was guilty.
Hold on, no. Like, shouldn't they have said that they deserve their privacy?
Right?
Shouldn't they have said, like, hey, don't these people deserve their privacy even though she's shitting in the bed and cutting off this guy's finger?
But guys, it was a bad moment.
Privacy?
It was a bad moment in their lives.
But we can't cover the polycule. We can't cover the cocaine, the ketamine, the child abuse, physical or sexual abuse. God only knows what the fuck is going on. We can't cover that. But you guys, it's totally okay.
Oh, the Rittenhouse trial, right? The Rittenhouse trial, making fun of and I agreed with them, with LawTube, all the people who were against Rittenhouse, but they weren't fucking like I didn't see you guys care. You made jokes, all this stuff, and that's fine. But we
why have to be reverent. No,
why?
But Nick Ricada is a saint. He's a king.
He's a scumbag.
He did nothing wrong. And what's gonna happen? He's gonna come back. He's gonna say the police planted these drugs. He's gonna say he's like O.J. Simpson.
Okay. What is Nick gonna do? Like, how is he gonna come out and damage control this? Because you know that he's already implying that like, ooh, things are not like what they seem. How is he gonna damage control this? I don't think he would like straight up say the drugs were planted, but like, again, like, is he gonna blame the church? Is he gonna blame like the police? Is he gonna blame the judge, the legal system, the government? Like Kino Casino, like Alyssa, like apparently he sees about Alyssa all the time. Like if this interview is any indication, I don't know. Like what is he gonna do? Like I honestly don't know. And honestly, at this stage, I don't think he knows what he's gonna do. Like he's legit so like wasted and so messed up. Like first of all, he can't just run his mouth. Like that's the big thing, because like he could just like spout whatever nonsense story he wanted, but now he's in legal trouble. Now he has to watch what he says, because if he goes on stage, goes on stream, and like he just goes like, those drugs were planted by the cops, that's gonna be brought up in discovery, and the prosecution's just going to be like, why did you make this obviously fallacious statement? Like, why did you blatantly make something up to sell to your audience, right? And he's just going to sit there like, that was not a legally binding statement. Like, he's going to try to do something. Like, again, we saw this with Monograph in general, and this is why the man is like the world's worst lawyer, in my opinion, is that like he's not willing to play by the rules. Like, he is unwilling to admit that he's at fault for anything. Like, in his mind, he's completely innocent of any wrongdoing because he thinks so. That's all that matters to him, is that like, oh, I'm Rakeda, I'm perfect. Oh, I make no mistakes. Like,
this is a conspiracy against him for speaking out against Biden, for speaking out against elected officials. Everybody in LawTube's going to give him a break, say, of course, he never did any drugs. He didn't have a problem with alcohol. He didn't endanger his children to the point that the pastor at the church felt the need to step in. No. This is all Joe Biden's doing. This is a satanic pedophile.
It was Biden all along. Oh man, Biden was the corner demon.
Cabal. Do you understand that the actions that Rakeda is doing are very similar to the actions that we accuse the satanic cabal of doing?
Yeah.
Like, the guy is swinging in a polycule, doing Hollywood lines of cocaine, going down K-holes on ketamine. Fuck, who knows if he's injecting this shit, doing the brown. He's mixing cocaine with fucking gunpowder. He's going to weird, like, hedonism events to have his wife get fucking blacked. Like, really? We're actually, like, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be pivoted to, it's the Illuminati trying to put Rakeda down. He was an innocent.
I think that's a little bit far. Nobody's going to believe that shit. Nobody's believing the narrative now. Like, honestly, like, I think what he's going to have to do when he comes live is that he's going to have to ignore it. He's going to be like, hey guys, I'm back after a weekend, an uneventful weekend, and now let's go back into our regular legal coverage. You know, like, I think he might come back on, do some like damage control, do some legal coverage, talk about how he's a Christian, talk about like how he's in a monogamous relationship with his life. Like, he's going to try to like keep up the illusion, I think, that like nothing's wrong. But yeah, again, like people are gonna start super chatting, and then he's gonna start freaking out. You know, he's gonna start like lashing out at his audience like he always does. And again, like, it is going to lead to more and more problems. And the big thing right now, I don't know how he's gonna handle this case, but I do think it's reasonable to assume that things are absolutely going to get worse. You know, like, I think they're not allowed to see the children right now, and it all just seems like a big mess. But anyway.
Wholesome family man. And this is just fucked. It's all his own actions. It's all his own behavior. The Illuminati didn't make him go to the sodomy barn. The Illuminati did not make him put on the fucking Baldo. Joe Biden didn't make him snort that cocaine. Do you understand? Joe Biden didn't force him to store his guns all over the fucking place and fire them off like a crazy fuck in the middle of the night. But this is the defense that we're going to get. This is the defense. It's going to be the craziest, wildest conspiracy ever. I'm telling you right now, there'll be no plea deal. Rakeda will fight this to the bitter end in the court of law to try and prove his innocence. He will gaslight his audience, tell you to reject the reality that your own eyes have seen, to reject the testimony.
He's already doing that with Monograph, so I can see where PPP is coming from. Yeah, I think that is what he's gonna do. Is that he's gonna try to like fight it. So we'll see.
Testimony that Aaron's about to give tonight, to reject the testimony that Sean's gonna give tonight of seeing one of his friends spiral and go down the fucking shitter and mentally deteriorate at the hands of substances. He's gonna tell you to just totally close You didn't see that. You didn't hear that. Don't believe your lying eyes. Instead, believe the Pope of LawTube. Well, we don't believe you because you're a lying sack of shit. You're an arrogant Baldo-selling bum. And you're going to be exposed tonight badly.
Nice.
And you're going to be exposed tonight bigly. And I just hope that in some way this helps the family that he's shafted. Because he really has shafted them. And what's fucked up is when a 400-pound Canadian and an ex-cokehead and Andy give more of a fuck about your children than you do.
For real.
You understand? Mr. Medicare I honestly, last night, guys, if you listen to Jim, he sounded on the verge of tears.
Or at the end?
Yeah.
The last 20 minutes.
I was really upset when I got the news too. Like, I think Alyssa sent me the image of the mugshots. Like, I was rattled by it. I was shook. It's like, it's one of those cases where you're just like, wow. Like, I can't believe it came to this. Like, I didn't think it was real for like a good couple of minutes there, but like, yeah, it was real. It's just.
I kind of think he was like, tears were coming from his eyes.
We might have to watch at the end of the show that last 20 minutes, bro.
That's how much he cares about you and your family. But you don't. You don't. The only thing you care about is drugs. The only thing you care about is booze. The only thing you care about is sexual degeneracy and gooning and pushing it to the next extreme and the next extreme and the next extreme at the cost of everything around you. Because you're a degenerate, drug-addled fucking bum of a human being.
No.
You are no better than the junkies that the rest of us step over on the fucking sidewalk. You've given it all away for that next hit. And guaranteed right now, folks, he's still not sober.
No way.
He still hasn't checked himself into rehab. Because if he was to check himself into rehab, it'd be an admission of guilt. Sir, you're guilty. There's no way around it. You're dead to fucking rights. They have you with an ounce of cocaine. They have you with 8 ketamine pills.
I thought he was like, I thought one of the terms of his release was that he wasn't allowed to drink. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering, but anyway, yeah. If he like turns on, if that's true, and he turns on the stream and starts drinking, he's like fucked. That's gonna be hilarious. Like if he gets like straight up raided again while he's streaming. But anyway,
they have you with with gunshots.
Mysterious brown substance
in your house. April's probably already turned state and is going to testify against you that you were selling coke. You're going to have to weave the most batshit insane conspiracy imaginable to try and make this go away. And guess what? It's not. You're guilty. You're guilty as fuck. And you know what you should do? You should go to rehab. You should show some contrition. You should show some remorse and hope that the judge that you called a stupid bitch, both to her face in an elevator years ago.
Wait, I didn't hear about that.
Yes. He's called this judge a stupid bitch to her face in the past.
True.
Because his clients have lost in front of this judge.
No.
This judge, who you just on live stream were talking about, pussy, alcohol juice.
Pussy juice.
Pussy juice. The most demented shit I've ever heard. Calling her stupid and dumb and she doesn't understand the law. You understand? She's in charge of this case. You're not winning. You're going to lose. You need to plead out. You're not going to. You're going to fight this to the bitter end because you can never, ever, ever admit that you're wrong. And you know what's going to happen after Aaron tells his truth tonight? Instead of Rekieta just shutting his fucking mouth and accepting it and fighting it in the court of law, he'll fire it up. Mm-hmm. He's going to respond and he's going to be pissed off. And we're going to have a situation very similar to Vickers versus Ralph. That's what we're going to have.
At a bigger scale.
Yeah, so I wonder, again, I wonder if this is what, like, Aaron's trying to do, is, like, antagonize Rekieta into doing something ridiculous. It's kind of like my view on that. To get an edge over him legally, we'll see.
At a way bigger scale.
Way bigger scale.
Yeah.
It's going to be an absolute clusterfuck, folks. So strap yourselves in.
He's here in half an hour.
Strap yourselves in. He's going to be here in a half hour.
Yeah. And thanks, Ash, an amazing rant in the background there.
Should we go ahead and skip ahead, or?
And with Flaked, making sure all the mics were set up proper, the cameras. We're all ready The way he was DMing me, he's like, Andy, we're going for it. We're going all the way.
No.
He's like, and he even said, he goes, by the way, if while talking with about the kids I cry, please don't call me a faggot, but no promises there.
Listen,
sorry. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Obviously,
I'm not here to call him names.
Me either.
Me either.
No, I'm just joking. Yeah.
But I'm here to just burn Rekieta down.
It's about time.
Because it's time. You know, he really sowed the wind. He's going to reap the whirlwind on this shit.
Yeah. No, he has.
It'd be one thing if he'd shown any remorse at all. He should already be in rehab.
Yeah.
Instead, he's drunk and high. And you can sit there and cope. No, he's not. He's really taking this seriously. No, he's not.
Well, by the way, Ash, you know what's really funny? I have to say to you from the last show, I'm sorry. I was doubting you hard on the last show. I was like, this has to be his rock bottom. At least don't respond. You don't want to fuck yourself up in court. I understand. At least just shut the fuck up. But to come out and go, you're all pieces of shit. Fuck you. Fuck your rehab.
You know nothing of the situation.
You know nothing. How about you shut the fuck up and log off for a second? But you were like, no, guys, this is not his rock bottom. And you were right.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was doubting it, though. I was like, there's no way.
His rock bottom when he's still got all that money in the bank. He
True.
Still has the house to live in. Yep. He still has probably his drug dealer connection that he can get drugs from. He's definitely not going to provide that to the police to help himself. You know?
Yeah.
You know, he's still got an ability to buy booze. And so he's just going to keep drinking. He's going to keep doing drugs. And people have said, oh, well, the conditions say he can't. Well, he's either going to be violating those conditions.
Well, I don't think we know what he paid though. I don't know if he paid the $50,000 to get out. Like I don't.
Or apparently, and I don't know how much truth there is to this, and maybe Sean later on will shed some light to this.
Sean will be here soon. Yep.
If Rekieta spent the full $50,000 and didn't use a bondsman, then those conditions not to drink and use drugs aren't on him, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
So I'm going to assume he did do that. Went $50,000 out of pocket on his bail bond.
Just so he could drink and do drugs. No, yeah, he totally 100% would do that. Oh, man.
Drunk as fuck out of his mind, doing drugs right now. And that's why he's battling with random people on Instagram.
He's on drugs right now watching.
Just echo Jim, like, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Are you having fun yet, Nick?
On Instagram. How about instead of fighting with those random people on Instagram, you'd spend that time getting clean? How about you spend that time apologizing to the family members that you've inconvenienced and embarrassed? How about you spend that time going into church today and apologizing to the members of the congregation and speaking to them and expressing your penitence? How about you spend that time checking into rehab? There are about 1 million more productive things you could be doing than arguing with random people on Instagram that don't matter at all.
Yep.
But he has to be right. He can never be wrong. And he can never just take it, even from some random fucking loser on Instagram.
By the way, real funny too. So you were talking about earlier how you had your speeches about, to Nick in between our jokes and calling him out. We were like, you were very honest and like, you have to repent and da-da-da. And me, as an ex-coke user, I was like, this will ruin your life. You have to stop now. Trust me, you could do it. Da-da-da-da. We were very like motivational. But how about this, Nick? The people that you hung out with and let enable you, Dick Masterson, Ethan Ralph, all these fucks, they're
Drexel.
all laughing at you now.
Don't forget Drexel. Like let's not forget Drexel, honestly, because I do think like he was kind of the gateway person to this. It's kind of crazy. Like I pointed this out yesterday. You can see this in the Rise and Fall of Rekieta video. I went to like his first ever live stream. I found like the Maddox versus Dick Masterson thing, and within 30 seconds he has picked up a bottle of whiskey. So I thought that was like really interesting. That like like I don't think there was ever a period where like Rekieta was normal. Like he's always been like this, and he's always been around degenerates. He's always been doing weird things, and people have always been like writing it off and ignoring it. Like remember when the blackface picture surfaced, or like when when like we learned that Drexel groomed that girl and seeing how like everybody just kind of laughed it off. It's like, yeah, like there were moments like that over and over and over again throughout the years. And now it's just reached the point where like people just can't excuse it anymore. And there are some who are trying, but at the same time, yeah, people forget this about Drexel because it just doesn't come up. It's just, people tend to talk about like the grooming allegations of Drexel. They don't talk about what he actually does as like a swinger, right? He was talking. I saw a clip with him coming out and like defending uh spit roasting a chick, right? Like he genuinely thinks that like fucking a chick with another dude is not gay, which is like obviously a load of crap and a cope, but like his justification for it was like, well, the girl will love you more if you do that. But I'm just like, wait a minute, though. That's like, again, he talks all this shit about like, you can't do what these hoes want, and then like he pulls out stuff like that where he tries to say that like, oh, these fucking gangbangs are the best, bro. Like, it's just, what an idiot. But anyway,
How does it feel that you didn't listen to us because you thought we were a fucking bunch of retarded Canadians?
oh hey, yeah, I haven't seen this yet. Yeah, I haven't seen this yet. Yeah, I heard it was insane. So the fact that we haven't even gotten to Aaron's bit yet is really telling. But anyway, yeah.
And listen to your buddies who, the minute you were arrested, fired up a stream and went, ha ha, fuck
They laughed at you.
fuck you.
Yep.
Couldn't be me.
Oh, hang on. I should probably leave the light on. I keep forgetting I need to have the light on so like the lighting is okay.
Ralph instantly. I mean, who's shocked? Who is fucking shocked? No
Instantly
one.
put that
We are
knife in your back.
instantly. If you listen to the two assholes who were giving you good advice, look, we are assholes. I'm not fucking lying about that, but we're assholes who speak a little bit of truth within our assholeness.
Well,
Go
I'd
ahead,
say
sorry.
a lot of truth.
A lot of
The reason why a lot of the commentary on this show hurts so much to the people who are on the receiving end of it is because it is true.
because it's true.
It might be delivered by a
Yeah, okay. So what was I gonna say there? Yeah, like there were plenty of people who were coming out like saying Ricada had to like pull up, as Elite Farm says. I was doing that. Alyssa Clips, I'm sure, was doing that. Ashton, Worski, I'm sure like there are like countless other examples. Yeah, like again, they were all rejected in favor of Dick Masterson and Ethan Ralph, people who did not have his best interest at heart. Again, like I can't emphasize this enough. Ricada chose this. Do not feel sorry for him. Don't feel sorry for his wife. We're gonna get onto that like soon, but again, he is responsible for his own actions. Nobody else.
400-pound, sweaty, big fat fuck. You guys are retarded.
Retard and fucking.
But it doesn't matter who's delivering the message when it's true.
Yeah.
And it's also very funny as well.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
By the way, can I just thank everyone, all in you followers? Hi. We got Nose Goblin for 3 subs. Malcolm X for 5 subs. Chidsworth for a sub. EF Gamester for 10 subs. Theodore Feeder the Bald for 25 gifted subs. The big support. Bohemians for 10 fucking subs. And we're Journey for 10 fucking subs. 88 for 5 fucking subs. And Black Mage 666 for 10 subs. Thank you for that big support.
And
let's keep her going.
Remember,
Thank you.
guys,
Fuck yeah.
if you do want to ask Aaron any questions, you donate over on Dono Chat. Any question that you do ask will be answered by Aaron on the show. So
Yes,
we're gonna ask
yes.
him some questions, and you guys will be able to have your
Go over
say
the
as
story
well.
and all that. Oh, and by the way, if you're new and sort of like following this lore, our clip channel, go subscribe to it. We're clipping our clipper, the editor. He is taking out all the donos and all like the extra talk and squishing it into a condensed version. We have about 2 videos about this situation already up there. And it's all our shows are clipped, by the way, there. And you can check it out and go sub now. Thank you.
We have 24 minutes, so let's try and get through some of the previous day's events, just to
Sure.
refresh people who might
I'm so tempted to skip ahead, but it's been so entertaining so far. I can't bring myself to do it.
not be familiar. So let's go into the Ricada Fox 9 article folder.
Okay.
It's in
Oh,
the
let me share
Ricada
that to you.
folder.
Yep. I have it open. Just let me just share it to you. 1 second. I was just talking.
And
to
we'll
Aaron
go
there.
over this briefly. We'll go over some of the pictures from the bail hearing. Now, we weren't originally going to watch the entire bail hearing because it's like of dubious legality. However, Darkside Phil has reacted to the entire
The whole thing.
arraignment
The
hearing.
king has done it.
And
The
so
king has done
I
it.
think we have no choice but to risk it for the biscuit. And at some
Sheesh.
point, either tonight or tomorrow, watch Darkside Phil's reaction. And I've watched some of it. It's so good. He's so
Is it?
smug. He's like, it's only been 2 weeks, guys, and already he's been arrested. Darkside just dabbing. Just
We're
dabbing.
talking about the Sonichu curse, but nobody's talking about the Dark Side Phil curse. You know, you antagonize Phil, you're gonna get wrecked. Like, this isn't the first time it happened. Review Tech USA got it. You know, like, it's not unheard of for people who go up against the SP to suddenly have, like, a lot of bad luck come their way. Okay? Like, Ricada got it double. He got Sonichu'd, and he got Darkside Phil.
Nothing on his grave.
Oh shit! By the way, a Pig Riser for 5 subs and Captain Quint for 5 fucking subs. Big support, guys. Thanks for the support there. All right, Ash, are you ready to get into the?
Yeah. So here's
Here
the
we go.
headline. Nick Ricada. I love just how his name rather is right in the headline.
Yeah.
So anytime people search him up, I wonder if I should go on that show. This will pop up. Nick Ricada, Minnesota lawyer and YouTuber facing drug charge, blames unknown man named Jim. Amazing that Fox News got the whole story, that he's blaming Mr. Medicare for his problem.
Yeah.
Really?
Great reporting
Is he
from
doing that?
Fox.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that. Is he? Wow, that's crazy.
Let's go into the article here. Let's see if we can zoom. Dabbing. Just dabbing on his grave.
Oh shit! By the way, a Pig Riser for 5 subs and Captain Quint for 5.
Child tonight or tomorrow. Watch Darkside Phil's reaction, and I've watched some of it. It's so good. He's so smug. He's like ended him, and basically there was officers at the drug charge. Blames unknown man named Jim. Amazing that Fox News got the whole story, that he's blaming Mr. Medicare for his problem.
Yeah.
Great reporting from Fox. Let's go into the article here. Let's see if we can zoom in.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me just.
Yeah, there we
Nah,
go.
I got it.
Minnesota-based lawyer and online legal analyst Nick Ricada is facing a drug charge in Candiyohi County. Ricada was arrested Thursday alongside his wife Kayla and a fellow online personality. Prosecutor, and isn't that how it is with this whole thing, by the way? Is April's just a fellow online personality to Ricada.
I think
Some
she streams.
random, yeah. Anyway, for second-degree possession, child endangerment, and a gross misdemeanor firearm charge. Let's go to the next slide here.
Fuck, dude.
According to the charges, law enforcement attempted to execute a search warrant on May 23rd at Ricada's home in Spicer and was greeted by a girl at the front door who would not let them inside. So Ricada then, so this is how it happened. Now, this is kind of convoluted, the timeline. Apparently, there is body cam footage, and it may or may not be released next week. So
Yes!
that
Whoa,
to
we're gonna
look
get
forward
that?
to. 'Cause there's
Whoa!
already been requests
We're gonna get that?
for it, And if Rekieta goes to trial, I think it certainly will be made public, but we'll have to see.
I want to see that.
Essentially what happened is Rekieta was out of the house. He was driving home. The officer apprehended him. And basically, there was officers at the house, and there was an officer with Rekieta. Rekieta got home. They told him to give the code for the door.
Yeah.
As the little girl was at the door refusing to open it, Rekieta refused to give them the code, even though he was shown a valid warrant.
He threw it on the floor. On the floor.
So we'll get there, and then they broke down the door. But after Rekieta refused to provide the door,
he threw down the warrant. How is this the first I'm hearing of this? Like, what the fuck? I don't even know what to make of that. Like, I've seen him say so many times, cops don't belong on my property without a warrant. And then they give him one, and he's just like, oh, this is toilet paper. Ugh. Like, what? What a fucking... Man,
code. Law enforcement used a door ram to get inside and found Kayla M. Holte and 4 juveniles inside. So this means one of Rekieta's children was missing, which is interesting as to where that child was and why. We don't know. We can only speculate. But law enforcement proceeded to search the master bedroom.
During the day, by the way. So, Rekieta's claim that he's always driving his kids to activities is false. Right? That would be the 23rd. Let's see, it's the 27th now, 4 days ago. Yeah, that would have been during the week, right? So... yeah, like if you have four of the kids, yeah, only one of them was doing something, I think. But anyway.
Bathroom, where they found a variety of drug paraphernalia, including 3 small baggies that tested positive for cocaine, 8 green tablets that tested positive for ketamine, a digital scale, and several other items that tested positive for cocaine.
Jesus.
Authorities found a 6-hour assault rifle with several magazines and loose ammunition underneath the bed, a spent shell casing on the bedroom floor. They located additional firearms and ammunition in the garage. Police took Rekieta and his wife into custody, and he told law enforcement that he and his wife stayed in the master bedroom, where law enforcement claimed to find most of the drug paraphernalia, but allegedly refused to answer questions about the cocaine, according to court records. Before his arrest, some online users had raised concern about Rekieta's health this week, sharing a clip of him appearing to doze off during a stream. Well, I don't know if it was him dozing off, or if it was him jerking off, him getting sucked off, or what. But it was quite the clip. It was.
I love how, like, we're the crazy ones for our theories, but it's like, is everyone watching the same clip? They're like, it looks like he's just like having a little seizure. I'm like, anyway. Here we go.
Law enforcement noted Rekieta had several injuries to his arms at the time of arrest. They described the injuries as sores that are common with controlled substance users. So was he actually injecting shit? Was he injecting heroin? Was he mixing the cocaine with gunpowder and injecting it? Like, what the fuck was this guy doing? Like, seriously. And then we're still being told, oh, don't worry, he didn't do anything wrong.
Or did he fire,
functional.
Like in the backyard, fired off a round and brought in the casing? Like, what happened?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Like, this sounds crazy, dude. Yeah.
It is absolutely crazy. So then we're going to move on from the article. We're going to have a look at some of the images of him at this bail hearing or arraignment.
Okay.
I don't know what you necessarily caught. But we didn't see what we saw, guys.
No, we're crazy, guys.
Crazy. Take a look. Well, just go to any of them.
Oh, yeah, we'll start with this. Yeah, sure. All right, guys.
Look, this is Kayla. This is the mother of 5 children. Housewife, homemaker,
she looks
Christian, laid low, made into a dirty crackhead junkie. That's Kayla. Just looking like any common, like, crackhead thief off the street. Next slide.
You know, someone said in our comments that she looks like she's already spent 10 years in jail.
Yeah. No, for real. She looks like she spent serious time. Look at her here, wiping her filthy fucking nose in the county orange.
No. And look at
the
this.
charge: neglect, child knowingly permit physical/sexual abuse. Now, this charge could mean a number of things. Some people have said that it just means that she wasn't feeding her kids, or that she allowed her kids to get beaten,
Ash,
that the kids were exposed to drugs. Look at
the way you said that, though, that how people are.
Well, like, they were around Drexel. Like, I've been saying this for years. Like, I was expecting the kids to be sexually molested at some point. Okay, so I don't think. Again, I'm really. I've seen people say that, like, it's. I've seen people say that, like, that charge is outlandish, especially since Nick himself doesn't have it. But, like, I think people are really underestimating, like, what a piece of shit Kayla actually is. Because even today, you're gonna see this when we get to, like, Aaron's part. But, like, you see a lot of damage control for what her involvement in this. And I do think that is one of those things that I really want to challenge going forward. I am 100% certain now, 100% certain that Kayla is, like, complete trash. And we'll be talking about this, like, as the stream progresses. But it's just one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, we have to talk about this more. We have to.
It just means she wasn't feeding their kids.
Yeah, the best case scenario is she wasn't feeding her kids.
The best case scenario is look at him here. Look at this guy. My gosh. Oh no, but it's fine. We're crazy.
It's going totally fine.
Like, Nick looks way better than Kayla. Like, to me, it seems obvious that, like, Kayla's more of an addict than he is. Like, just look at the stereotypical. Like, Nick was able to pass himself off as a normal person for a long time, but, like, Kayla never has. You know, there's, like, the massage story, and then, like, there was that time she went on stream and started shilling, like, some weird product. Like, again, like, people who have, like, known Kayla have had, like, issues with her. You know, it's interesting kind of looking back on this. But anyway.
Guys,
we're nuts, guys. Oh, we have the Imholte too.
And then there it is. April, this is what she said, that her charges were dropped and she's not an addict. She says someone else did this to me. So the betting public right now is betting that she is just completely flipped on the Recadas, that she's going to be testifying against them. She's going to create this narrative that Recada indoctrinated her into this, got her into the drugs. It's all his fault. They're really fucked.
She's gonna flip hard.
Well, do you know who else flipped on him? His own lawyer. So if we go to folder 3, we see that his own lawyer in the Montegraph case has snaked on him by just saying the truth.
What?
So his own lawyer is saying this. He says he drank hard with Jay Rushy and was blind to his addiction until it killed him.
Wow, base Randazza. Like, Randazza probably is more aware of just how incompetent Rekieta is as a lawyer than, like, anybody else alive. Because he's had to deal with this guy for, like, over a year. Like, wow. I was not aware Randazza made a public statement about it. Wow. Based Randazza, I would not have expected that from him.
Killed him. This is heavy shit.
Whoa.
He goes, I enabled it. I'll never forgive myself.
Yes. I predicted Rekieta's downfall years and years ago. Yeah. I'm one of the earliest people to do so, actually. Yeah. She's rarely seen the camera. Yeah, Kayla is the reason why Kayla has been such a anomaly in all this is that, like, she very, very, very rarely appeared on stream. Right, so we didn't actually know what to make of her until just recently. Until the hot tub stream, I think, is when it all started coming together. But yeah, now that we have, I can conclusively say she's a piece of shit. And we will be talking about that as we see, like, Aaron talk about her in, like, just again, this is, like, the big thing I want to focus on in this stream is talking about Kayla specifically, because I do think we do have all the information we need on her now, and we can conclusively say that yes, she's scum. Star Wars Girl is being a Jenny. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, fuck Star Wars Girl. Anna can just no. Like I actually raged at her earlier this week. Actually, the last time I made a video, the last LeeLive, I think I ended up watching a stream with her, like some dude, the bad guy, some guy named Cecil says, and she was like doing straight up damage control for Nick. She was really sucking his dick, like, oh, next time, Nick, let me take April's place. Let me join your hair. Like, fuck her. Like, damn. I'm really upset with like the way some YouTubers have been like going to bat for Nick, and like for me, like I think she's like the most blatant example of that. Fuck Star Wars girl. But anyway, yeah.
Nobody will ever talk me out of it, and I miss him every day. If you're actually friends with Rekieta Law, then don't do what I did.
Well, everyone who's actually friends with him like tried, but no, he just chose the enablers.
Followed up with another comment.
What the
He says, I'm not laying blame on anyone close to him. The only person I'm condemning is myself. Just trying to encourage anyone who can help him to do so.
Thank God.
You understand, when your own lawyer, who you're spending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on, comes out and says you have a fucking problem and people need to help you, maybe it's time to fucking listen.
Wow.
But no, of course not. Rekieta's got all the cope lined up.
But so by the way, we're the assholes because we're covering this.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the summaries did not do their stream justice, I think. I didn't know a lot about the lore. Like, wow, Randazza making a statement, that's completely new to me. But anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Here we go. Here's Rekieta Law. It's on Insta, right?
Yeah.
I wish I could express that what people saw.
By the way, like notice how he immediately has a typo, but he's definitely not high or drunk. Like if you're being accused of being a drug addict, I would make sure if you're gonna post to own the haters, which is not advisable. You shouldn't be posting anything at all. But if you are, make sure there are no typos in your epic post to own the haters, right? Because he says he won't go to rehab because it's an admission of guilt, right? But when you post shit with typos, to me, and you're accused of being a drug addict and having an ounce of coke, it looks pretty bad also.
Yeah.
I wish and could express that what people saw isn't what they think they saw.
Look at this. Obviously, Jay can't confirm about. He means I. It's
but
not
he
even
didn't.
It's not even on the same row.
It's
not even the same row.
Can't talk about my case yet. However, confirmation bias makes people see something they didn't actually see.
What the fuck?
What it all is we're all such bitter, evil haters of the man that we just want to see him as an alcoholic.
No, like none of us wanted this. Like this is the reality of the situation is that like I can tell you this, like I was going to bat for Nick for a long time, during Weeb Wars and maybe even a little bit after that, right? I was willing to defend Nick on certain things, but then eventually it became too much for me, right? And I was the first of many people to feel that way, right? Like again, I was a hardcore fan of Nick's for like quite a while, and then like I turned on him because of his own actions. Like I did not want to hate him. That is the reality. Like I don't want to hate anybody. It's just
we want to see him as a drug addict. We want to see him as a guy in a polycule. We want to see him as a guy who wears the baldo. He didn't do any of those things. We're just seeing things. Now, mind you, Irate Gamer, who's a completely neutral observer, said he looked like a ghoul, like a skeleton. You know what I mean? Like anybody, like people who are just coming into it now, like normies that have been alerted to this, they all say the same thing. He looks like an alcoholic. He's speaking like an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It looks like an alcoholic. It talks like an alcoholic. Everybody around him says he was an alcoholic. But no. We didn't see what we think we saw. When we saw them in the hot tub swinging, and Aaron's going to testify to all of this later, when we saw them swinging in the tub and then them Holties got divorced, we didn't see that. You just saw what you wanted to see.
When we're
all fucking delusional.
So when I heard the rocks in the nose, the tight breathing from like a straw. It sounded like the coke on his nose, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is coke. And then we find out there was coke there. I'm still crazy. Oh,
we all
okay.
saw something else.
Oh, yeah. No.
He wishes he could tell us more about it, and he appreciates the love and the support.
But
okay.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, because you have uncivil law.
That's just the beginning of it. But that's like the framework for his defense, is that we need to deny reality and be gaslit by him into believing a whole other line of bullshit. Now, people comment on this, say you are in complete denial. You and your wife should be checking yourself into rehab, not fighting with people on Insta. And he goes, checking yourself into rehab. Tell me you don't understand the justice system without telling me you don't understand the justice system. Well, Rekieta, this only makes sense if you plan on fighting this all the way, that you're going to have a full jury trial on these charges. Because if you're pleading this out and you understand the legal system, you would know you would get a way better deal, a way less harsh sentence if you were to go to rehab.
Mm-hmm.
But you're refusing to go to rehab, which indicates to me that stupidly you're going to fight all these fucking charges. And you say, well, it's an admission of guilt. You are guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rekieta, like, demonstrating why he's not a very competent lawyer. He's so bad, he can't even defend himself to online randos. Like, PPP is, like, off the cuff, just, like, destroying his entire argument with no legal training. He didn't pass the bar, he didn't go to law school. Like, he's just some badass with an internet show. And yet, somehow, he completely destroyed Nick's entire argument without even trying. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've been up for 12 hours. I was working, I worked a 12-hour shift, so I feel kind of out of it already. I'm not working tomorrow, today, so I'm going to try to stay up and get this done, but... all right.
Yeah.
They have you dead
They
to rights.
found the fucking drugs as they walked in.
Wait, I'm sorry, but Rekieta, you're not black. You're not O.J. Simpson.
Oh,
right?
no.
Johnny Cochran is not going to, if the Baldo doesn't fit, he must quit. That's not going to happen. Your ass should have been in rehab yesterday.
Yeah.
For real. You should be in rehab right now, getting clean, getting sober, making a case to the judge that you should be able to see your kids. And if he really...
Yeah, he hasn't brought that up at all. Like, he doesn't have his kids. I think that's been confirmed. They've been taken away. He doesn't have his kids, and he's not thinking about them at all. It's all like, oh, what was me? People are being mean to me on the internet. Bro, you just ruined your kid's entire life. You know, like, he told that story, like, years and years ago at that time that, like, a cop, like, did a traffic stop on a school bus and how it traumatized him for life. Like, your daughter had to refuse entry to police who had to break down the door. Okay? Like, you made her do that for some reason. I don't know why. Like, do you think she's not going to be traumatized by that? Like, do you not think she's going to be thinking about that for the rest of her life? Like, I can't imagine doing that to, like, a 12-year-old girl. Okay, and yet he did it without a second thought. He doesn't care about her at all. Like, he doesn't care about any of them. Like, it's just.
Really cared about his kids and he wasn't a selfish fucking douchebag, he'd be in rehab right now.
Right now.
He would be fighting to see his kids again. Instead, he's pretty much doing everything in his power to make it certain he won't see his kids again. But why would that be a surprise to anybody that he actually gives a fucking shit about his kids?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't fucking care about his kids because this is the junkie mentality. The only thing that matters to him is drugs. The only thing that matters to him is booze. The only thing that matters to him is his ego and being right. And so he's going to put that ahead of seeing his kids again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the one to say it. He's a disgusting fucking scumbag who resents his children for not allowing him to live the lifestyle he thinks he deserves, that of being a Hollywood celebrity cokehead. Bum.
You've been preaching it for years.
And I hear
now.
like all the Megan Fox, what's her name, from LawTube and others saying he's going to do a Robert Downey Jr., that he's going to turn his life around. You know what Robert Downey Jr. did? He went to rehab. He went to rehab and he got clean and he was penitent and he apologized and he ate a big bag of fucking shit over it.
And now look.
This guy wants us to eat the bag of shit. He wants Kiwi Farms to eat the bag of shit and say they're responsible, that Josh Moon is responsible, that Kino Casino is responsible, that Mr. Medicare is responsible, instead of just taking responsibility for his own drug habit. Do you know what I mean? For taking responsibility for not feeding his kids, taking responsibility for leaving his children in a dirty, disgusting, dilapidated drug den of a home. But it's your fault. You, the viewer at home, that laughed at him becoming a disgusting fucking loser, alcoholic bum. It's your fault for laughing at him.
Lolcow.
Come on. Come on.
Ash, look at this. What I just was sent by Malcolm X. Real Malcolm X. Look at this.
So Barnes, Robert Barnes, this crazy cunt, Robert Barnes, is saying that the entire raid was unconstitutional and an overreach.
What?
Nick can fight to get this thrown out. Do you know what? Even if it does get thrown, which it won't. It wasn't an unconstitutional raid. They had a warrant. Like, get ready, because this is all going to be revealed. But even if it was all thrown out, we know that there was coke in the house. We know that he's an alcoholic. We know that he endangered his kids.
And Kay.
The house was filthy. There was ketamine. There was spent shell casings on the floor. We know what a fucking pathetic, worthless scumbag you are. And no matter what sort of slimy, shady, Better Call Saul lawyer you get in there to defend this and try and get it thrown out in a court of law, the truth is eternal. And the truth is what you will answer before God, the God that you claim to believe in, but clearly don't. You will answer before him in eternity, trembling on your fucking knees as to how you could allow your children, your flesh and blood, your seed that came from you. You understand? They are you. How you let them go hungry. How you let them go neglected. How you let them grow up in a drug den with dirty sex mistresses, cheapening their mother's honor in front of them, Ricada. You still have to answer for that. And you have to answer for it in the court of man now, and you'll answer for it in the court of God later.
Whoa.
But he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit.
Let me just do a quick thing before I have to do a phone call before we start this, okay, to make sure everything's good for the interview. 6 minutes, Ashton. Everyone mark it.
Well,
I need you all to retweet, by the way.
All right,
everyone
go to the
retweet.
next
I'm going to make sure
slide.
that this, okay, on the next slide, I'll be 1 second, make sure to all work it out, all right?
So,
guys, 6 minutes. Everyone retweet now. We have 6 minutes, okay?
I just want to show you guys, this is the next slide. This person just is trying to speak reality to him. Your house was raided. Drugs were found. Your children have been removed from your care. You could possibly go to prison, wake up, and stop being a narcissistic loser. Both of you go to rehab. That's just the truth. That's just plain and simple an unvarnished truth. And instead of just reading that and recognizing how fucked up he is and checking himself into rehab, or reading that and just being like, well, I disagree, they don't know the situation, but I'm going to move on and let the court settle it, he has to respond. Why? Why does he have to respond? And he tells them, eat shit.
We're all set.
You
Cool.
know nothing about the situation. You're a parasitic pile of garbage. Go fuck yourself. That's seriously what he said. You know nothing about the situation. Well, we have the police reports. We have the news reports. This person's probably been a fan of yours for years, that used to look up to you and respect you and enjoy your content. And they've slowly watched as you've deteriorated into the worthless monster that you are today. And you're going to tell them that they know fucking nothing? To not believe their own lying eyes, and you're going to call them a parasitic pile of garbage. Why?
But Ash,
because they cared about you?
Even before we saw the police report, before he was arrested, you could see it. You knew there was drugs in the house. You knew, like we knew. Like it's not like he was like fully sober. It was, and then this happened, and we're like, what the fuck? He was like sober. He looked well. He looked healthy. He looked like he was like not on drugs. Yeah. No, it's you were on drugs the night before, coke on your nose. Next day, they found coke. 1 + 1 = 2 in the situation. Sorry. They're like, oh, wait. If he was sober, hadn't been drinking, hadn't been doing drugs, and then was caught and went like, guys, you don't understand what happened. There was someone over at my house and they left some shit. I'd be like, okay, it's more believable. No. We saw you deteriorate over time. Not like it wasn't like a snap of the fingers. From sober to crackhead. No, stop.
It wasn't just like, one day he had a DUI,
Yeah.
And this was one bad night where he made some bad decisions.
Exactly.
He was drinking, and he got pulled over and he got popped or whatever. It's not like
That's
he just
different.
had not like he had like an 8-ball on him or less.
Partied one night and was like, fuck, like it was just like, I was tempted.
He had like a full ounce.
And scale.
Almost a full ounce with scales and
guns
paraphernalia
and shit. Like, what the fuck?
and everything on him. He was deep into the lifestyle.
And we're gonna hear.
Honestly,
we're gonna hear the story. Yeah,
he was deeper into that lifestyle than even you were.
By a lot. Way
Seriously.
more. I was just buying like every now and then and smashing lines and drinking. I wasn't selling. I wasn't around kids. I didn't have guns and spent shells. I didn't have scales.
Did you have like some greasy, dirty mistress on the side
No.
that you were embarrassing your wife and children with?
I was screaming high out of my mind like a retard. And yes, and by the way, like, look, if you're watching and you party every now and then, I'm not even judging you. Have fun. Be careful. Don't do drugs. I suggest don't do drugs. And if you have kids, knock it the fuck out. It's over. Stop it. Just stop it. Look, if you're fucking like 23, you're fucking, college and you do a line, I'm not going to be like, you're a horrible human being.
Well, and
no.
And let's be real too, guys. How do we know he wasn't dealing? Because somebody in chat's like, he was dealing. Why would he have the scales if he wasn't dealing? Why did he have multiple little baggies if he wasn't dealing? You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, when you're getting into these amounts of cocaine, in order to help fuel the cost of it, you might start dealing on the side. And he would see no problem ethically with dealing drugs.
When you're partying with people and shit, and remember, he's heading to these sex clubs.
He had a funnel.
All right, guys. All right, Ash, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hide you off the screen. I'm gonna add Aaron to this call. I'll bring you both in, and we are ready. He has already called Flaked, and he has confirmed his camera was working. It took a second to make it work. That's why I was making sure we were all ready. All right, guys. Let me, what I'm going to do? Ash, I'll phone you right back. I'm going to do a separate call. I'm going to add us all into one call. All right. So let's go like this. All right, guys. And Aaron seems to be ready. Hang on. Let me just redo this. Go add friend. Okay. Here we go. Create DM. Go. All right. Turn.
Okay.
Pop out
All
here.
right, we got Aaron here.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah,
There
we could sort of hear ourselves there.
There we go. You're good, boys.
All right.
Oh,
Let me just
no.
do this real quick.
Fucking
just
Aaron
want
got
us-
on
I just
Kino
want us all
Casino
to
before I
see
did.
On the board behind.
Fucking Aaron got on Kino Casino before I did. Fucking L for Harvard Smith, huh?
Me. I think it's very important for people to know we are powerless over our addictions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very good lesson to learn.
Okay,
We are
got
and
already.
We need a power. What is it? Greater than ourselves.
All right.
To help
Well,
us through
before
these
we get into
Let's
everything,
start.
why
Yeah,
don't
let's-
you let them know who you are, where they can watch your show, and all that?
Yeah.
I'm Aaron Imholt, the host of the Steel Toe Morning Show, or if you dislike me, the biggest cuck on the internet.
Woo!
No.
Currently. No, boys, look, I know we're going to get into a lot of stuff, and I know I'm here to be Ray Liotta in Goodfellas, but I do have to say, and PPP has said it on multiple episodes, and Andy, I know you and I have talked. I think PPP's coverage of this, Ashton's coverage has been fantastic. I've laughed my fucking balls off
Oh,
even
yeah.
when he's calling me a homosexual
Well,
Right.
and a degenerate and everything else. He's
Yeah.
not wrong. I was all of those things. There's no, like, everybody's criticism. Those who
Aaron.
don't like me, who go, oh, you were a degenerate, you went to this place. Yes, that's my whole point. I am guilty. I am working through this. I am working it
So,
off. I am paying it off. The problem I have is three
PPP
other
can't
people
even
who
get
are
rid of it
involved in
anyway.
this will not admit their guilt and atone for what they've done wrong.
So, Aaron, can I just get you correct? You're going to admit today that you engaged in homosexual activities?
No, I did not engage in homosexuality.
No.
Kano
Okay,
licked my
'cause-
face 3 times, and it was always unasked for.
okay.
Okay.
Hey, but hey, we have receipts for that. We have receipts for that. Let's see. Let's turn that off. Okay, the licking thing. This is one of the things I heard he talked about. Let's see. Melissa clips. Let's bring up that. Check. Videos. Lick. I think Steel Toe's on there. Let's see. Steel Toe Morning Show. Oh, she has an entire playlist now. The Steel Toe Morning Show, a divorce. Let's see. It's the one where they're in the office. There we go.
If you're looking for a bulge,
Oh, this is a Kino Casino clip. Is there one without it? No, I think it's just a Kino Casino clip. Shit.
if you're looking for a
Okay. Well, we just need the lick. Okay.
form fellatio upon this queer guy.
Shirtless Nick Rekieta.
Bed hair.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wait. First of all, can I ask you how many viewers did he have live?
Whoa, but
Okay. Stick.
To prove that it's actually,
looks-
if you fucking...
Okay, folks.
okay, look it. You
Thi-
don't
all
quite
right.
look at another man like that. Those
Where
are
is-
this the modern. He looks at him like that. And him-
Lisa,
Don't
God,
you...
no.
like,
Are
what is
you-
he doing?
she's like,
She's
I
like
might divorce.
cringing.
she might divorce.
She's like seriously, like the divorce papers are being drawn up in her head. She's like, what lawyer do I get?
All right.
Because my husband is soying out and is allowing Nick Rekieta to lick him. Like,
So yeah, unasked for, he didn't trigger it, but he allowed it to happen. Like if someone did that to me once, I would never talk to him again, right? Like I would not need to like go through this like character arc drama where I'm just like, wow, this guy is a piece of shit. I don't want to hang around him anymore. Like I wouldn't be there for that to happen. But anyway,
so I'm just
I
gonna
think-
ask
what it
you
was?
before
You know
we
what it
get
was?
into
No, Ashton,
the
Ashton,
yeah,
real
yeah.
quick. Ashton, real quick. The only reason he licked my face is because I have a terrible habit of leaving Molly on my cheek. That's the only reason he left.
Is that what is that serious? He was trying to lick
No,
Molly
I
off
know,
her
I
cheek or
know,
what?
Molly.
Here's the
in
thing
this
is, yo,
in
Aaron.
this case, it's hard to tell what's
I-
serious and what's a joke
I have to
because
be
it's
careful
so
with you, yeah.
insane.
I have
Okay,
to be
now
careful
listen.
with you because you'll take it as serious.
No,
Yeah,
no,
so
no, Aaron,
listen,
but everything is so degenerate that saying that's like, yeah, that's believable. It's not even
Yeah.
like
No,
exaggerated.
it really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we go into, because I kind of want you to give us like a chronological walkthrough of
Oh
everything.
shit!
But before we do that, I want to ask you, what is the crying on the floor story? Can we hear the crying on the floor story?
The crying on the floor story. First of all, I should have been more specific. But the crying on the floor. Well, is that different than the fix her story?
Tell us both. Tell us both.
Okay. The fixer story is this. Well, now we're going to jump out of order and we're going to get way ahead in the story, but all right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't think it's any secret. And I've received messages from people saying, how dare you reveal all this? I'm like, I'm pretty sure you guys getting arrested revealed all this. But it's no secret that, people call it swinging. I would say it was just more straight up, just switching up.
Right.
More than anything else. And I did, look, whoever she is now, whoever she is when I'm not around, when I was around, I'll admit to you, boys, I did fall in love with the Kayla that was around me.
Okay. Press X to doubt. Press X to doubt on all of that. Because, okay, this is one of the reasons I really wanted to talk about this, because this is just absurd to me. This idea that it was a switcheroo, that, like, Aaron was fucking Kayla while Nick was fucking April. Like, I do not believe this is true. I do think you can, like, watch the hot tub stream. You can see, like, the dynamics. You can look at the scheduling. Like, you can look at, like, what, you can look at the sequence of events. Like, Aaron's story, as he tells it, does not make any sense, is my honest opinions on this. And I can tell he's lying even now, right? The idea that it was, like, a consensual thing, like, to me, like, again, we have to, like, go deep into this, like, into this kind of thing. But I think the big thing for me is just how all this played out, right? The hot tub stream, that was in late January, like January 30th or something like that. Like, the next day was February. So you're telling me that you went from that stream where you explicitly said, "Oh, Kayla hates me," to, like, falling in love with her over the next couple of months and then never speaking to her again? Because they haven't spoken for, like, 2 months, right? Since March. So, like, you're telling me over the period of February and, like, early March, right? You're telling me through that period, February and March, you had an affair with Kayla. Like, this incredible affair where you were, like, raw dogging her upstairs while Nick was streamed in the basement with like, April sitting in the corner. Like, I don't believe this. It doesn't make any sense to me, right? Not with what we know with, like, these personalities and what happened around that time. Like, again, I just don't think it's believable, especially since, like, April left, right? Like, to me, it seems like again, we have to, like, discern the story, but, like, that's my hot take on it. Like, I explicitly do not believe this aspect of the story. I do not believe that he had sex with that woman. Like, I think he's trying to make himself look like less of a cuck. But anyway,
whoever this person is, whoever she was, and Nick would tell me himself, he would go, "I've never seen her like this in years." There was something about the way her and I connected. There was shit we said to each other that we probably shouldn't have. But there was I just developed a very deep connection. April was, doing the substances she was doing with Nick, and I was not okay with it. Her and I fought about it a lot. When you confront people who are on those substances,
you don't go from, like, "Oh, I think she hates me," to, like, having this deep connection with her. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, Like we saw how she was looking at him in the hot tub stream. You saw that expression. Do I have to pull it up? Like, you're telling me you had a deep romantic connection. Like, no, I don't believe that at all.
Substances, they tend to call you a lot of shit that kind of fucks with you. And I started to kind of question my own, worth and sanity and whatnot. And when Kayla hears those kind of things and she comes up and she gives you a hug and she says, I just want to let you know you're a good man. Like, you're at such a low point when you're doing all this shit that's all it takes. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to cling to this.
Wow, a fucking hug made him fall completely in love with her. Wow. Again, like, I'm really curious, like, what actually happened, because like I've been pressing X to doubt since I read the summary, and now, yeah, like I don't believe this at all. Like, I really don't.
This person, because they make me feel like I'm worth a shit. And she did that. I will say this, Kayla Ricada, for all her faults, for all this and whatever we may talk about, I really did develop a deep affection for that woman, and that was reciprocated.
Oh yeah, yeah. Why aren't you talking to her now? Like, why did things fall apart, Aaron? Like, what reason could there be for you not continuing this deep personal connection? Could it be that it didn't actually happen? Like, could that possibly be the reason for this? Like what I think happened is that Kayla treated him like a normal fucking person, and he completely became obsessed with her. Because, like, you see this with beta males a lot when they like interact with women like Kayla, who are like very friendly and very like affectionate and stuff like that. Like, they've never experienced that before, and so like they just become like obsessed with this idea of like um her being in love with them. Like they think that, like, because she's such a friendly person, that means that like there must be like some serious like lingering like real affection there, but it's not. Like, it's just her natural personality, right? She treats everyone like that. Like, I've known people like this who just like experience a random act of kindness from a girl, and then like people just completely take it the wrong way. And yeah, that's the implication I get from this, is that like it wasn't a deep personal connection, right? It's just anyway.
It's unfortunate the way things went, but I really did see that there's something in her that wants to be done with this. There's just no, I mean, in the position, in the situation you're in, there's no opportunity to actually do it.
Man,
No, I think she should just divorce him. That's always been my take. That's always been on the table. Like, there's no reason not to. Like, I don't think. I think that would be the best route for her going forward. Is just leave him. Is kind of my take on that. Uh, I don't believe Kayla is a helpless victim in all this. I believe she's complicit. I believe she's like a major part of how Nick goes about his business. I believe they're like heavily codependent on each other. I believe they enable each other's bullshit. Like, I think Kayla is 100% complicit. And for whatever reason, probably because Nick fucked April, Aaron wants to make Nick specifically look like the bad guy. Is kind of my mindset on this. Like, I think both of them are pieces of shit. Well, I think everyone involved is a piece of shit, including Aaron. But
I ask you one thing. So you told me, and I'm pretty sure you said this on your show too. There was something about like you guys were like soulmates. Like you had conversations about being soulmates.
We were in bed one night, and when Nick would be on his streams, April would be the corner demon. Of course, I think that's pretty much figured out by now. I'm not spilling any. But April would go down there, and you know, the sickest part about me and a level of degeneracy I'll cop to.
so like April was down there every night. She didn't think to like do something else. She didn't think to like hang out with Kayla. She didn't like, I don't know, like want to go harmony that day. No, she was down there every day in the corner. Like, I don't, again, for months, enough for like people to notice. Like, I don't deny like she probably was down there sometimes, but like she might not have been the only one. You know, Kayla might have gone down there sometimes. Like again, like I just don't understand like the mindset behind it. That she's sitting there in the corner, like completely silent. Like what's the reasoning behind it? Like I don't understand like why they would do that. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Too is I didn't want to be around my wife. I wanted to be around Kayla. So when those two went
Oh
off,
bullshit! But like I wanted to be around Kayla. Like but you were doing shows with your wife regularly. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, I didn't want to be around my wife. Like, what? It's just, you were like pushing very hard during the whole like divorce proceedings when she left you. Like, this idea that, like, oh, she's going to come back, she's going to come back. And then when that became apparent that it wasn't going to happen, you like flipped. Right? Like, I don't believe this at all. Like, it sounds like he's trying to turn this L into a W. Like, oh, the reason my wife left me was because I was having sex with a much better woman for me. But really, it's just a cope. It's just a cope.
and did their thing, it didn't bother me at all. And as a husband, that's disgusting. That's degenerate. I think, as PPP said, you have to answer to men and God on shit like that. But that was just the way it was. That's the situation I was in. And I'm sorry, Andy. I'm jumping all over the place.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no. It's very enlightening, everything you're saying. It's fantastic. I mean, it's awesome. You're doing great.
Andy, you said the soulmate thing. That's
The
what it was.
soulmate thing. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's unfolding the story. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
We were in bed one night. We were lying together, and she whispered to me, she goes, I think you're my soulmate.
What?
And I, the way we were at the time, I said, I agree. I feel that too. There was just such a deep connection there. It's a connection we.
Okay. So what I think Kayla is the kind of person who desperately needs to be like validated by other people. Like she desperately needs to feel desired, you know. Like I think she's the real life example of that, like the movie trope, the manic pixie dream girl. Which although it's like, you know, in film it's like some exaggerated cutesy thing, you do see this in like real people, especially in like liberal areas with like hypersexualized like younger women who are just do this thing where they like go through these whirlwind romances. They're like addicted to like meeting new people. Like oh you're an amazing person. We get along so well, and then like suddenly she gets bored of you, and then she just moves on to the next person, and like the process just repeats itself, right? Like again, like to me, it looks like Kayla is like a retired version of that kind of person. Someone who used to do that all the time and has these things where like in order to make herself feel like noticed, like she has to do this, like she has to whore herself out. And we've seen this a couple of times with like the nudity pictures and like the way she behaves in public. And like she gave an interview like when she was on Nick's show, like when she was talking about like the Joker movie, like it had just come out, and she was talking about like her relation to it. Now the thing about Joker, and this is the most interesting thing about the movie, I think, is that like everyone kind of treats it like a Rorschach test, where like every single time like someone has a completely different interpretation and a viewpoint that's based on their own experiences, right? So like Kayla emphasized how she felt that she related to like Arthur Fleck's like isolation and loneliness and not being noticed by other people, like feeling invisible basically. And like Nick, of course, like doesn't respect her at all, doesn't pay attention to her, like doesn't care. So like for her, like being like intimate with Aaron, this random dude, was like exciting to her. You know, it like rekindled that old like feeling of like being in young love. Like that's kind of what I think happened here, is that like it was just a bunch of sweet nothings. Again, like I said, she wasn't in love with you. She was using her for her own purposes, right? Like you were being used. But anyway.
Definitely got chastised for by the other two parties.
How do they find out about that?
Not necessarily that. It's just the closeness. We would get criticized.
They witnessed you guys getting closer and closer and falling in love.
Kayla was sleeping once, and April and Nick.
So like they were over there like during Kayla's sleep time? Like what sense does that make? So like Kayla is upstairs, like okay, whatever. Like we know Kayla sleeps when like Nick is streaming, right? So like again, so the Steel Toe Morning Pro people, like I've said, I noticed this earlier in the year. I made a video about this, I think, that like Nick was having friends over in like the dead of night, like several nights a week, right? And we know now it was the Steel Toe Morning Show people. But like, why were they there? If Kayla wasn't available, like if Nick was streaming, like what was the purpose of having them there? It's just
We were in the bathroom where the safe and everything were discovered. We were in there and I was sitting on a chair. I'm not going to say they sat me down, but I'm sitting on a chair and the two of them are close to me and they're going, do you understand that when you and Kayla talk to each other, nobody else can get a word in and you don't even hear other people? It's like you're
what?
closed off in your own little world. And I'm sitting there going, well, based on what we're doing, guys, isn't that kind of the fucking idea? And they're like, well, Nick and I don't do that. I'm like, that's your fucking problem, not mine. Like, I'm talking to this person. I'm connecting with this person. I'd like to talk and speak to this person. I don't know what to tell you. There were always these weird rules. Like, you play pickup basketball or pickup football, and some
Yeah.
kid always wants to change the rules in the middle of a game. Like,
Yeah.
now you gotta have two
Yeah.
feet in bounds instead of one.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it felt. Like, if Kayla and I got too far affront or forward, affection-wise or feeling-wise, then the other two had to slam on the brakes. And that included shitting on the other one to me or shitting on me to her or Nick would always, the thing that actually led.
I don't doubt this happened. Like my thing is that like again, I don't think that like Kayla reciprocated his feelings or like if they even really existed to begin with.
Me to ultimately leave one night. It was a Thursday night,
Mhm.
7 weeks ago. Nick started questioning me about where Kayla put her prescription pills one night. Nick, we were sitting.
Yeah, he dated all of this. So I would really like to go back like 7 weeks and see just what exactly we were talking about then. I'm really curious at what point like April left and when Steel Toe flipped and when he stopped going over there. Like we really need a timeline of events here. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me like what he's describing. Like again, like all of this happened over like a couple of months, realistically. Again, like what I understand, I don't like. Again, we can iron out the timeline. We can. We just need like the weaponized autism of Kiwi Farms to figure this out. But yeah, I don't think there was enough time to like form this kind of relationship and then have it fall apart. Again, I think it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Up in the bed watching a movie, and Kayla was there, and she went to grab her sleeping pills, and she set them down on my leg. This was a couple nights before Nick confronted me about this. Well, I guess Nick got a hold of Kayla's phone and started reading her messages, and there were really affectionate, heavy messages from Kayla and I, and he didn't like that. And he starts.
They were texting though. I can't confirm that. Like he sent a message to Kayla about Kino Casino, right? Like I reacted to that on stream. Like he talked to Kayla about the Kino Casino clip of the hot tub stream before he spoke to his wife about it, which is interesting. So again, I think you can co-sign that they were talking a little bit, but again, like he prefaced that by saying, "Oh, I don't think she hates me anymore," and that was like in February. So
texting me, and he starts going, where did Kayla put those pills the other night? I was like, what do you mean? She goes, did she put them on your dick? I'm like, what? When she set them down on the bed, did she set them where your dick? I'm like, no, I think she set them on my knee. I'm not sure. Like, I didn't know because I don't remember that shit because that's psychotic.
The pills loose? Was it the pills
No,
loose?
no. She has them in
the case. Okay, in the case.
Like
All right.
people who have to take medication do. And by the way, before anyone even asks, I only saw her, other than like cocaine and stuff, I only saw her take medication that was prescribed to her. I will say that.
Okay.
But he would start questioning.
wait, hang on. Yeah, I heard someone claim that like he said that Kayla never did drugs, but he just said there that she did do cocaine.
One night, Nick, we were sitting up in the bed watching a movie, and Kayla was there, and she went to grab her sleeping pills, and she set them down on my leg. This was a couple nights before Nick confronted me about this. Well, I guess Nick got a hold of Kayla's phone and started reading her messages, and there were really affectionate, heavy messages from Kayla and I, and he didn't like that. And he starts texting me, and he starts going, "Where did Kayla put those pills the other night?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Did she put them on your dick?" I'm like, "What?" When she set them down on the bed, did she set?
Okay, if you're fighting with like other people and you're polycule, it's not working. Okay, let's be real here.
Set them where your dick? I'm like, no, I think she set them on my knee. I'm not sure. Like, I didn't know because I don't remember that shit because that's psychotic.
The pills loose? Was it the pills
No,
loose?
no. She has them like in
in the case. Okay, in the case.
Like
All right.
people who have to take medication do. And by the way, before anyone even asks, I only saw her, other than like cocaine and stuff, I only saw her take medication that was prescribed to her.
Okay. So that's confirmation that she was doing cocaine. Okay. If I'm understanding him correctly, he phrased that in a weird way, right? Like, again, I saw someone at Kiwi Farms claim that like he said that like she doesn't do cocaine, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Okay. Okay. So Kayla is doing cocaine. Is my understanding of that situation?
I will say that.
Okay.
But he would start questioning me, and if I didn't know the answer to these things that happened a couple days ago, he'd start fucking freaking out on me like, "You're a goddamn liar. Why don't you just stop fucking lying?" And I'm just like, dude, I just don't know where your wife put her pill. I don't pay attention to this shit. Did you fuck her 2 days ago when you were watching that movie? Did you have sex that? I'm like, Sunday, Monday, I think maybe but then I would realize I would think to myself,
you fucked her, right?
Why do you think he was so threatened by you fucking his wife? Like, shouldn't he have been chill with it?
Those two are extremely codependent. And even though they're into, I think they were kind of bored with each other. And that.
I co-sign the codependency thing for sure.
That's where April and I came along. And
was it accepted to have sex with her and vice versa? Like, was this like already like okay, guys, I get to fuck her, you get to fuck her.
Let me take responsibility for something else.
Sure.
Well, April and I were on vacation in Las Vegas to watch the Vikings games and hang out with some friends.
Okay.
I did bring it up to her that I thought Kayla was very attractive. And my part of the degeneracy, my part of the weakness was it might be interesting to try this because we knew their reputation.
Can you walk me through like the decision process to opening your marriage?
The Wednesday night.
Yeah. So they open their marriage and then he gets divorced in like 3 months. That's funny. That is funny. Doesn't work, kids. Don't try it.
Before we left for Las Vegas, we went out to dinner with the Ricadas. Now we met them in October at the comedy show.
Yep. I can co-sign that. Like I saw the clip.
Unfortunately, Chrissy Mayer's father was murdered, and she had to pull out of the show.
Oh yeah, I
heard about that. Yeah, it was really sad.
Brutal. Yeah.
Chrissy, a good friend of mine. Great.
Oh, she's
person.
great. Yeah, I love her.
She's wonderful.
So that was the one. Sorry.
Hey, let's check the thread. Oh, there's the big blocks of text. Okay, we're gonna have to wait till later.
It was the one where Nick performed that as well. You brought him in for that show. Yeah, okay, I remember that. Okay, and he told anyone if we covered that show, he would flag it and shit. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead. So
I don't give a fuck. I think people who troll me recorded it and played it on their shows. Who fucking
cares? Yeah, I know. But okay, cool. Timeline, perfect.
So we hung out. We drank afterwards. It was fun. It was a good time. April and Kayla got along great. Nick was on Molly. He and I got along as well as we could. He was cool enough.
As well as we could. Like, you were flirting with him in the hot tub 3 months later. Like, you were gay by that point. Wait. So, the story he's trying to push, it looks like, is that he was really close to Kayla. Kayla was great, but Nick, he was a piece of shit. No. Like, you were going over there for 6 months, and you didn't have a problem with Nick or Kayla until just recently. until just recently, you were the biggest nose guard in the sector, I think. I think again, he did a video on me to like defend Ricada. So
Then we hung out the next day before they left town. We watched a movie in the morning. And then April would go to their land to hunt. April is a deer hunter. I would go sometimes. November's a little cold for me. I'm kind of a faggot like that. And I would stop hunting around then. She would go to their land to hunt. I've thought about this as time goes on, as I've been away from it. I don't know if they introduced her to anything in that time period or not. I have no idea, but I have my suspicions now. But we went out to eat early December, probably like December 4th, I would think. And we went back to our place. And we all sat and watched a movie. I think it was Inglourious Bastards, actually.
So random. It's just so,
Django Unchained.
You're all on Molly?
It wasn't Django.
It was a Tarantino film.
You're all high on Molly? Like, let's watch some Tarantino.
No, and that's where it begins.
Oh, no, in there? Okay,
no
okay.
high on Molly. We went to dinner. We went to dinner. This was in December. We're watching a Tarantino flick.
Okay.
And Nick pulls out the little container that they call a bullet of cocaine. I learned so many cocaine terms, boys.
Let's
in
go.
The last 6 months. It's wonderful. I know about drugs.
Yeah, a bullet, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like shaped as a bullet.
Hey, I'm 37 years old, and I have 3 children, and I did Molly for the first time. What a fucking fool guy I am.
Let's go, buddy. Let's go, buddy.
I'm a degenerate cocksucker if they're ever
No,
you want
buddy,
to tell people what a bullet is? I know what it is, but you go ahead.
Go ahead. You let us know.
Yeah.
So we're watching the Tarantino
No,
film.
just tell people what a bullet is, because there's not
a little container of cocaine, like you
easy access. You pull it out of your pocket, you go like that, and bang. Yeah.
Give yourself a little something.
A bump. Yeah, fast bump. Yeah.
Worski knows. I'm a fucking choir boy compared to you, buddy. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I'm from the Midwest. I drink beer.
I don't judge.
I don't fucking know. I drink beer and watch Timberwolves playoff games. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Let's fucking go.
So we're watching it. Pete, shut the fuck up, Ashton. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're watching the Tarantino movie, and Kayla and April start making out. Fun, cool.
Right.
In December, like within like 2 months, like
I said here's something that's got me thinking.
I can see it beginning that way, right? Like your wives start making out, and it's like it's cool, right? Because it's like lesbian action, it's hot,
wonderful,
and that's what opens the door to it, right?
Yeah, and rubbing.
And I want to say, I respect your, I appreciate your respect as a man. While I'm talking about that, to have both your hands above the screen, I do appreciate it.
Exactly, we got fire me up special.
You're a godly man. So
Jerry.
they're making out, and here's what's got me thinking that I don't know if something happened before this, while they were, while April was out there hunting or not. I don't think so, timeline wise, but who knows? Nick goes to run his hands up April's thigh, and I go, whoa, 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 and he pulls his hand back real fast. Like, I'm sorry, I'm on Molly. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
So like. I don't know, man. Like
I'm like, all right, just fucking making sure. So I start doing things to my wife while her and Kayla are making out. Nick starts doing things to his wife while they're making out. And then we break. They go in. Kayla and Nick go in one room. April and I are in the other. April and I both do a little bit of coke. Nick pours a little bit of coke out. April does some, I'm assuming for the first time ever, which she looked at me, she goes, is this okay? I said, I had one bump at a wedding when I was like 30 at that time. And I'm like,
assuming, like he keeps saying that, like, oh, I think April did this and April did that. Like, it sounds like to me she was already not telling him things this early in the friendship, like in December, right? This was before even the hot tub stream. It's like,
I go, it's up to you. You're your own person. You can do what you want. Right. And then I did one bump, and I'm like, God, I forgot. I really don't like this. It doesn't feel good when it goes. I just don't like shit up my nose. So we do that. April and I have sex. I'm assuming the two of them had sex. And when it's all done, I remember Nick was downstairs. April went downstairs. They're in the kitchen. Kayla comes into my room, comes around the bed, stands by me, and starts showing me like pictures of her family and telling me stuff about her family. Like, here's this person, here's that person, so on and so forth. And I'm like,
What?
I'm just kind of like, just because of everything that went on, I'm like, does she like me? Like, we're both married. Is this like I don't really
You
get
felt
what
flirtatious
So
energy.
I felt
In December, right? And then in January, he was talking about how she hated him, right? Like, it just,
flirtation, and obviously I thought
Yeah.
she was an attractive woman. I'm not sitting here going, oh, this weird bitch is fucking talk. I was like, oh, it's all right. Okay.
So she was coming on to you right away.
I don't know. I'm terrible at
That's
reading.
the sense. That's the
Almost
sense.
like a flirtation.
I
Like,
know.
the energy was there.
I don't think so. It sounds like she just came in. Like, what's the deal? Like,
We were
Not
being
the
flirtatious.
words, but
Right,
like
we were
like you're near her, sort of like arms touching. Oh, look at this.
we
Yeah.
both just had sex. She's leaning over me. Yeah, it's sexual
Yeah.
energy. shall we say.
Exactly. Okay.
So then April and I leave for Las Vegas the next day, and I am a little weirded out by what happened the day before, and I'm uncomfortable around my wife. But she's talking about this experience like, oh, that's kind of exciting, right? That was kind of fun. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really know what to make of it. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm more in the realm of like, what the fuck just happened? So then we get a day to think about it. Friday morning, we're in Las Vegas, and I go, she's getting ready in the bathroom. I go get her. I go, I want to talk to you real quick.
bro, your wife is a whore. That's all you need to know. Like, you should have filed divorce papers then. That's my take. Like, you should have gone to see your attorney that day. Like, bro, like, no.
And I was thinking about Kayla standing next to me.
Red
and
flags,
I
red
can't-
flags.
I can't remember if she was naked or not, but I think she may have been topless. I can't remember.
You
And I
can't
just
remember
remember
if she was naked or not.
Dude, when we get to all the stories, there's a lot of shit that's just gonna.
Okay.
It's just too much.
All
My,
right.
like, oh, it's all right.
So
Okay.
she was coming on to you right away.
I don't know. I'm terrible at
That's
reading.
the sense. That's the
Almost
sense.
like a flirtation. Like the energy was there.
We were
Not
being
the
flirtatious.
words, but
Right,
like
we were
like you're near her, sort of like arms touching. Oh, look at this. Yeah.
We both just had sex. She's leaning over me. Yeah, it's sexual
Yeah.
energy. shall we say.
Exactly. Okay.
So then April and I leave for Las Vegas the next day, and I am a little weirded out by what happened the day before, and I'm uncomfortable around my wife. But she's talking about this experience like, oh, that's kind of exciting, right? That was kind of fun. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really know what to make of it. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm more in the realm of like, what the fuck just happened? So then we get a day to think about it. Friday morning, we're in Las Vegas, and I go, she's getting ready in the bathroom. I go get her. I go, I want to talk to you real quick. And I was thinking about Kayla standing next to me, and I can't remember if she was naked or not, but I think she may have been topless. I can't remember.
You
and I
can't
just
remember if
remember
she was naked or not.
Dude, when we get to all the stories, there's a lot of shit that's just
No way. Like, how can you not remember something like that? That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
it's just too much.
All
My
right.
Like
my
he's not
fuck-
sure if it was that time or the next time. You know, like
my
it's
rant- my
drunk.
rant-
Yeah, I don't believe a word of this, honestly. Like, people were saying this is like 90% accurate. Like, nah, more like 10%. Like, there are definitely things on here that I would like co-sign, but like at the same time, like, yeah, I'm sure there's like more in the story that he's not telling us.
my RAM is overloaded.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't process shit right. I really can't. Like shit happens to me now.
And you were
I'm like,
fucked up too, right? Like you're on drugs,
Yeah.
drinking, all that stuff. We
Sure.
get it. Yeah,
We get
makes
it.
sense.
So I talked to my wife, and we just had a talk about what happened that night, 2 nights ago, and we talk about what we'd like to do. And I'm like, we know their reputation, and I went, I think I'd like to try this. Like
The reputation.
again,
Could you
the
maybe
degenerate here
clarify?
that started this was me. I asked the question first.
Was it the hedonism stories? Like, was that what the reputation you're talking about?
I didn't know about the hedonism stories. I just knew in general the Riquetas had swinger stories around them.
Okay.
Okay. Like, is this a known thing in Minnesota? Like locally, are they known for swinging, or are you going based off of like
Internet lore.
the Kiwi Farms
Okay,
lore
okay,
or
okay.
whatever? Okay.
Internet lore.
Okay. So
So
you weren't
Trex-
surprised.
So you hung out with swingers and you were surprised that something bad happened. Like,
Right.
Okay, can you answer this for just before we go any further on
Oh,
this?
man.
Do you know if Drexel has had sex with Kayla?
I can tell you. I'll tell you that Kayla has told me no.
Okay.
Trust her on that, and I've never met Drexel. I don't
You've
know.
never met Drexel.
Never met him. He was never
so why would you ask that if you never met him? Oh, whatever.
at Riqueda's house in the 6 months I was there.
All
Okay.
right, back to the timeline of you opening things.
Yeah, I believe that. That's consistent with what we've seen. I believe that Drexel has been avoiding the Requeta house actually, because he knows how bad it's getting there, and he knows how badly that's going to reflect on him. So he's been distancing himself for quite some time. Like, he doesn't want anything to do with Nick right now.
Things up and how
Yeah.
we all
So-
got here.
April seemed way more gung ho on it than I thought she would. So I was just like, all right, cool.
But she was already like into it, right? Like, come on. Like, no, I don't believe that at all.
That night,
Did that
at
upset
dinner-
you?
Let's see. Let's see.
Did it upset you that she was so easily like open to it?
I feel bad.
Let's see. Yeah, it's the summer. Yeah.
Saying no. I want to tell people this. If you're thinking of opening up the sanctity of your marriage, let me tell you something. You're
Sure.
fucking done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
You don't want it anymore. You're bored, whatever. Subconsciously or consciously, you just want to fuck some strange.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And that's
So-
what it started out. That's what it started out as. That does not negate the feelings I told you that I developed for Kayla later, everything else. I don't want to disrespect her in that way. But
No, I don't want to be disrespectful to you, but do you think it had anything to do with April not like orgasming? Because she said you never made her
know
orgasm.
where that fucking story came from. Our sex life was fantastic. If as every
I don't know where that story came from. She said it on air. We have the clip. Who are you trying to fool? Who are you trying to fool? Like, yeah, Kiwi Farms needs to pick up on that. Can we clip this? Let's see. Clip this. Create clip. Wait, how does... Shit. How does this work? I've never clipped anything. Oh, whatever. Okay, an hour and 18 minutes in is when he says this. Like, that is a false rumor. That is demonstrably not true, right? We know he's lying. Like, our sex life was fantastic. Yeah, so fantastic that she left your ass after like jumping on some strange dick. Like,
everything else was fucking garbage, that was good until the last time.
She made that.
so sex was good, but everything else was garbage. I'm pressing X. I'm pressing X. Like,
Joke or something, and then
made a
Red
joke
Bar
on
started
the air,
talking
yeah.
about it. Yeah, yeah. I
I
remember.
made a joke on air. She's like, "Oh, not every woman comes every time from sex," and that becomes, "Oh, she doesn't come," and it's just like
oh, it was just a joke, bro. Like, the fact that she left me pretty soon after that was just a coincidence, bro. Like, come on. Come on, bro. Like, that's not even press X to doubt. That's like That's press Y to prove it fucking wrong. Like, no, that is that is demonstrably not true, I think. Yeah, so definitely the first major lie of the day. Trying to make himself look better. Oh, I totally made April come over and over and over again, several times an hour. Like,
I'm just like, you motherfucker. Like, she wasn't saying anything shitty. She wasn't bashing our sex life, but I looked at her and went, you know how the internet's going to take that,
And
right?
you were pissed. Yeah, you were
I
like
was pissed.
seething.
No,
Yeah.
Number one, I'm not saying I'm the greatest that ever lived, but I laid some good dick with this woman. And here she is saying this, and I'm like, she doesn't mean anything by it, but I'm like,
she doesn't mean anything by it. You know, I think you said the same thing when she left. Like, oh, she didn't mean anything by it. Like, oh, she made out with Kayla. Oh, she didn't mean anything about it. Like, how retarded are you? Like, really?
you wonder, like, I think more in terms of like what people are going to say, whereas she just kind of says shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why she was so caught off guard when I was like,
So,
what the fuck are you doing? She's like, what? I didn't say anything.
so
And I'm like, no. People are going to take this the wrong fucking way.
yeah, I could see that. So are you saying, were you pushing more for it to be opened, or was she
Yeah.
pushing more for it to be open? So you're saying
That's my idea.
this
'Cause
was
you want
your
to fuck
idea to
Kayla.
open the relationship?
Yeah, this was my
Okay.
idea.
Okay.
And
But then she was open, and you were like, "That was kind of quick."
she was a little bit too quick, but yes. And then we're talking to Nick and Kayla on the phone at dinner that night, and I'm
Okay.
like, all right.
Uh-huh.
The first thing, actually, Las Vegas was the first red flag I got from this whole thing, because as soon as we text them about this idea that I had, the first thing Nick did was, "Do you guys have the Signal app on your phone?"
Whoa! What is this Signal app? What is it?
No.
And I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck that is." He goes,
Okay.
well, it's an encrypted messaging app.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, well, why can't we just text? No. Let's use the Signal app.
Okay. So this is like one of the interesting allegations that's come up is that Nick is using Signal apps to send messages to people that he doesn't want publicly known. So like his phone number is publicly out there, you can get it, his address is out there, but like it doesn't matter because he has the Signal app. It's like, okay. So again, that implies he's been doing this kind of thing for a long time. If that's what he comes up with.
And I'm like, well, there's nothing illegal about fucking each other's spouses. Like, I mean, we can fucking talk about this like adults, you know?
Oh no.
Yeah, it was just weird. So we had to use this Signal app all the time. And I thought I should have known, like, you're going to
We had to?
I can see
We had to if we wanted to swing. Like, come on. How is he like seriously trying to make himself look like the victim? Like, oh, it was my idea to swing, but
holier than thou, Ashton, the wheels turning already, going, these fucking degenerates, the judgment.
No.
You're right.
No.
You're right.
This is a judgment-free zone.
We've never
Much like
judged
Planet
Ed.
Fitness.
we would never judge you.
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
We've
I-
never-
Not here, bro. I'm judging you so hard. I gotta admire their professionalism, by the way, because I would probably be like calling him out on his shit like immediately, and he would just end the call. Like I would not be able to do this. I don't think.
It's a judgment.
We have a lunk alarm.
You know what?
Until I hit the end call button.
Listen. Did you make Kayla come when you fucked her?
Oh, we did very well.
How many times?
That look at that nervous laugh. He's just like, oh yes, I did, with my massive penis.
Do you estimate that you made Lady Rockets moan your name?
Oh Jesus.
How many times did you fuck her, do you think?
See, now I was talking to someone before we went on, and they prepped me. They said Ashton's gonna ask some hard-hitting questions.
Oh yeah, of course he is.
And they prepped me for some of them. One of them was, how many times did you guys have sex? Can't count.
It was
Whoa,
countless.
it was just
It
a
was
lot.
dozens of times.
Like I said, I loved this.
Hundreds.
I was obsessed.
Hundreds?
I was obsessed with it. Hundreds.
100 times in like 2 months. Like, come the fuck on. Even if you were fucking her like twice a day, that would be like what 2 months, like 6. Like, come on, it's just not doable. Okay, like, come on.
No, not
Maybe
100.
like
It's
800?
multiple. In the like dozens to 100.
How many times a week?
At first, we always tried to keep it, or not tried to keep it, but it was always more spouses than other spouse. You understand?
Yeah.
So it'd be like a once or twice a week thing. I'd say at the peak, 4 or 5 times a week.
Did she suck your cock?
Yeah, 4 or 5 times a week for 2 months. That does not add up to 100. Like, so that would be like, let's see, 4 or 5 times a week times 8. Like, just, and like it was only that was the absolute peak. So it probably like dipped well below that. Yeah, like it's just.
What are you, fucking gay?
Of course.
Yeah,
was
like,
there
what are you,
there
I
dirty
ate her
shit like
paid or
anal and
fucking
shit?
suck my dick? Like that's what you do. You fuck. What am I? Not a gentleman?
Did she spit or swallow?
Come on.
You know,
what
I
she
will
did.
tell you this. Listen
Yep,
to me.
yep.
As a
Come on, he's dodging the hard questions. He's dodging like, well, what did she do? Like he's dodging all the specifics. Like I don't believe him for a second. Like I don't believe he slept with her, and I do think this is going to be a major point of contention with Rekieta going forward. Like I think the reason that Steel Toe was brought into like the fold was so that they could access April specifically. And what seems to have happened is that they cut Aaron off after a certain point. So like they would just have their like, three-way relationship without like and leave Aaron in the cuck shed. And now he's like coping and seething about it is my understanding of the situation. That's what I think happened.
as a man,
Like he can't prove
maybe
any of this. That's my issue. Like I don't like I don't believe he fucked Kayla. I just don't.
people in the chat will say as a fag, I see getting my dick sucked as a precursor to the main event. So
Yeah.
if I'm getting close and I'm getting my dick sucked, I'm like, no, let's get to it. I don't. So that
Right.
Was there toys involved at some points too?
Was she good? Was she good at sucking it, or what?
just a beautiful girl all around. She really
Yeah.
is. Just a lovely girl all around. I don't even say no. Look, you guys are giggling and everything. I don't say that as disrespect.
No, this is a crazy
No,
story.
like,
the story is
it's amazing.
This is like the greatest.
He's dodging like the specifics. Like, oh, she was amazing. Well, what'd she do? Oh, she was so beautiful. But what did she do? Like, oh, I loved her so much. What did she do? Like, he's just dodging the questions by being such a simp. Like, it's just yeah, I really want to see like some of these older clips of him talking about Kayla, because he has to have talked about her on stream. Like, that'll be like my mission for Alyssa clips. Like, did he talk about Alyssa? I'm sorry, Alyssa. Did he talk about Kayla on stream on his show? It is kind of what I want to see. Like, to me, it just doesn't seem that was the case, honestly. Like, I think somebody would have noticed, because we started paying more attention to them after the hot tub stream, which is when like all of this would have happened. So like, I find it odd that he wouldn't bring up Kayla in this way. Now, he was saying they were going to go see friends and stuff like that. Like, they were going to the Rekieta's house, but like there were like weird the weird things that people noticed about that at that time was that, like, wait a minute, like April's already there, like stuff like that. Like, to me, like I don't buy the whole like having an affair with Kayla shit.
You're like one of the best Howard Stern segments ever. Like, you're just nailing it right now.
By the way, I'm sure like April and Kayla were talking shit about Aaron to each other. Like,
Yeah.
You're killing it.
No. And let me just say, into the camera right now. Save yourself, sweetheart. You know you're better than this. There we go.
By the way,
Did
your
you
channel
use
is in
the
the links up there, by the way,
Yes.
everyone. Go sub to him, sub a Steel Tour.
Did you ever use the Baldo on Kayla?
I heard the Baldo described one time.
Okay.
Nick described it. and he like tried to sell it. Like,
Shut the
he's like,
fuck up.
"Oh, no, it's a thing where
Okay,
your
no,
balls become
tell
hard.
us.
You can
Tell us, please.
No, tell us the time he tried to sell the Baldo.
He was like, no, you don't understand. The Baldo is this thing where it makes your balls hard. And you can insert them, and then your dick can rub against their clit, and it can actually be very stimulating. I'm like, you know what else is stimulating? Fucking the shit out of somebody. You can just fuck someone. You don't have to shove your balls inside them.
So he used the Baldo? He did.
I don't know. I cannot confirm.
But he's trying to sell
whether
you
or
on
not-
it privately, so he for sure did.
Maybe he just believed in the product. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
We know he's used the he's used the Baldo. He's confirmed this.
Yeah.
I don't.
Now, did you, in the course of any of this, did you ever like see Rekida's wang?
I never. I've seen it flaccid in passing.
Are you bigger than him?
I will say this. I will say it's close. I don't think I've seen it like firm, so I don't know.
Flaccid in passing, where? Walking out of the hot tub, through the kitchen after fucking. Like what? Describe to me.
It would be kitchen after fucking.
Yeah, with children in the house. Like this is, I don't know. Let's not like downplay like Aaron's involvement in this shit. Like this is fucking disgusting. Okay, this is abhorrent. For sure. Oof.
Oh, what kitchen after fucking? I was right. Second guess, Ash.
What would you get from the fridge after?
Here's what I remember. Here's what I remember about our.
What was
here's
the
what I remember.
post-coitus meal?
I'll answer the question like this. I remember one of the girls, I can't remember which one it was, when we walked in the kitchen, we didn't know each other were there. And one of the girls said, she goes, "Both of my guys have great dicks." And I was like, "Thank you very much."
Wow.
Put it in my pocket.
That was
Call her a
Kayla.
day. That was April who
That was
said
Kayla.
that, actually.
Wow.
It was April who said that? Wow.
So, did he use the Baldo on April, you think?
I don't know. I didn't want to know. I didn't fucking care. I was with my sweet Kayla.
Wow.
Oh, come on. What? My sweet Kayla? Like, what? This guy's taking the our wife thing way too seriously. Like, no, she's not our wife. She's mine. Like, what the fuck, Aaron?
Like straight up the love was reversed between you and Nick and April and Kayla. So like, did he fall more in love with April than he did with Kayla? Like,
yeah, 100%.
So it was like a full on.
I'm not sitting here going. Kayla and I were so in love, and those two hated each other. They kind of.
It's like switched almost.
They kind of fought and tiffed with each other more than Kayla and I did. But I think the feeling was there, you know, like it was with Kayla and I. I think both of us, I think all of us were tired of the other person. I know April was tired of my nagging about drugs. I know that Nick and Kayla had been unhappy for a long time. And I was
Did Kayla express any of the reasons why she was unhappy in the marriage to you?
She feels like Nick gaslights her. She feels like
Nick, I can see that.
When she has a concern, Nick has a habit of turning it around and making it look like she's doing something wrong, to the point where she gets very frustrated. And like, Nick's not he's retarded, don't get me wrong, but he's not a dumb guy.
No.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
No.
Like, he makes some of the dumbest fucking decisions and says some of the stupidest shit of any human being I've ever fucking met in my life, and it's infuriating, but he's intelligent, if that makes sense. So like with someone like Kayla, if he can be domineering over someone and he can overtalk them, they can kind of convince someone who's not as convicted as he is that they're in the wrong and he's in the right. And that would happen with Kayla a lot.
Yeah, he's smart.
Did
He's
you,
smart at setting up the gaslight. Like
Can you like point to an example? Like, did you ever see this happen in real life?
God. Should we do the fix her story?
Yes.
By the way, real fast, boys. Sorry, kitty for 65 fucking subs. Let's go. I'll thank you all out. Thank you so fucking much. And so let's hear that story. Let's go.
All right. So the fix her story. I'm going to say January, February. And, I just thought of a story that made me really fucking mad. So the fix her story, you guys got time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got all the time in the world for you, bud.
All you, man.
So the fix her story. Nick and Kayla are screaming at each other in the bathroom. And I think I'm in the bedroom. I don't know where April is during the fixer. So I think April and I were in the bedroom. April and I were in the bed. Nick and Kayla were fighting. There was always drama. I always described the relationship between the four of us as we went from disaster to disaster, drama to drama. It was an intensely frustrating, stressful place to be. And I think it's because
Why'd you keep
three
going?
people were on coke and one of them most of the time wasn't. And that's a frustrating spot to be for me.
So he's claiming that he was never on cocaine, almost never on cocaine. Like, are you serious? Seriously? Like,
so Nick and Kayla are shouting, screaming at each other. I mean, frighteningly. They would have these knockdown drag-outs. I mean, just nasty fights. Some of them would end with Nick walking around hitting himself in the head like a fucking ape. This one in specific, Nick and Kayla are yelling at each other. Nick comes storming out of the bathroom. I hear Kayla crying. Nick points at me. This really upset me. Nick pointed at me and he goes, "Go in there and fix her."
what? What?
What did he mean?
Yeah, because you.
I don't know.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Go in there and fix her.
Whoa.
So I go in there and she's on the floor crying, basically in a ball crying. And I comfort her and I talk to her a little bit. And it's just, I mean, I don't know the specific.
If April was in the room with him, why didn't she go into, like, again, holes, like, again, like, he's not remembering specific details, like, oh, I don't remember she was topless. Like, how would you forget something like that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. All right.
Conversation, because these all run into each other. A variation on, you know, he's gaslighting me. I'm so frustrated. Nobody understands me. Nobody can see me. Nobody can hear me. That's how we got close. Is one of the things she would always say to me, and I would say to her, she would look at me as she wouldn't.
Yeah, she said this I mentioned this in the Joker, like, earlier on when I talked about her Joker review. She mentioned being invisible. Yeah, that's consistent.
Want to talk about what was wrong. And I would start going, well, is it this? Is it, I understand maybe you feel this way, blah, blah. And she would look at me with tears in her eyes. She would go, "You speak my thoughts." And that would touch me. That really, like, I'm not, like, you guys are going to find, I'm not some fucking monster who's here to just rat people out.
Oh, obviously
not.
Obviously not. Obviously not.
So in the fix her thing, I go in there, I talk to her, and it's just they're fighting. And then Nick comes back in and they start yelling at each other again. Now I'm in between the two of them. This is remarkably uncomfortable. I'm not high. They're high, or at least he's high. And they just start fighting. Literally, I'm in between the two of them. Kayla leaves. Nick pours out the two biggest fucking rails of coke I've ever seen in my life. And granted, I haven't seen that much, but bigger than what they usually do.
Yeah, that much. Like, you were in there for like 6 months hanging out with them regularly. Like, come on.
And just rips them back to back. To the point, now he and I were still friends at this point. Literally stopped, put my hand on his shoulder. I said, "Buddy, are you sure that's okay?" Because he had just done some before that. I said, "Buddy, are you sure that's all right? I don't want your fucking heart to explode in the fucking bathroom here." Nick always had this way of WebMDing his shit to explain it away. Mm-hmm. He would go, "No, well, what you don't understand is no matter how much I'm doing right now, it doesn't get me more high. It takes time for it to process and come down." And I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a stimulant supercharging the fuck out of your heart and you dropping dead. Like, no, it's fine.
Was he actually showing you shit online? Was he actually showing you stuff online?
No, he had an encyclopedia of bullshit.
So he acted like
he does that with like the heat allergy, right? Like the narcolepsy. Like, he just claims he has a bunch of like mystery illnesses to justify his behavior, but really it's like his alcoholism and drug addictions. Okay.
I already looked at this up. I searched this already.
One time I asked.
Yeah, like I think that story's true because it checks out. It doesn't have anything to do with like fucking Kayla. Like, I think that checks out. Yeah, I think that story is true.
Because this was late. This was probably a week or two before I bailed. I confronted him. I said, "Dude, I know her and I aren't on the best of terms right now." This is when she was out. I was ready to file, like, just about over. Like, April and I had crossed the Rubicon already. There was no going back. But I did still care. And
So wait. He so like he and April were getting divorced, but he was still going over to like their house. Like, what sense does that make? Okay.
like, dude, she's doing a lot. It's like every day. And you guys are drinking a lot. Like even Kayla came to me once and she said, Aaron, you need to talk to Nick or April because our liquor bottles are disappearing very quickly around this house. I said, okay, talk about it. I talked to Nick. I go, and I didn't really want to talk about the booze. I was more concerned about the coke. That's what scared the shit out of me. And I said, the cocaine use, dude. Let's talk about it because it's not good. We need to cut back on that shit a little bit. And
So like he's still hanging out with these people even when he's like planning on divorcing his wife. That doesn't make any sense. Like April left, right? Before he filed? Like that doesn't yeah, the timeline of events doesn't make any sense. From my recollection. Again, I'm not an expert on like steel toe lore, but
he gave me this reason. He said, well, Aaron, what you don't understand is, understand how like people with ADHD, the stimulants they take allow them to pay attention better because their attention span goes up like this with the stimulant. It meets their demand for So he says about cocaine, he goes, well, Aaron, you see, sometimes our minds can only handle this much stress, but we have this much stress. So when I do cocaine, it elevates my body's ability to deal with stress to here, so I can then deal with the stress I face. And I remember just going to him, I go, that's total bullshit.
What was the stress? What was the stress that what was he mentioning?
I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
What you don't understand is this man was streaming at that point 1 or 2 days a week.
Okay.
He had a trust fund.
Yeah.
And that's very stressful.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
man, life's tough, bud. Life's tough.
I want to
say, there were some times with Nick where as the son of a fucking baker and a lunch lady, I was like, you entitled cunt. Like just fucking man up and handle your shit.
Yeah.
Like
So I gotta ask, like, what? Because you were there a lot or a fair amount. What is like a day in the life of Rekieta? Like, is he mostly high, like all the time?
I can tell you what I saw from time to time. Again, everything I'm telling you, I don't want to get into speculation. Everything I'm going to tell
whatever
you guys,
saw, whatever
It's
you saw.
firsthand. Yeah.
Amazing, thanks.
While I too, again, let's remember, while I too was being a degenerate, going outside of his marriage, scandalizing his relationship, scandalizing his children, all of these terrible things, being a bad father, being a bad husband. But a day in the life was this. I would get up. I'm an early riser. I do a morning show. I would get up on a weekend, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I would just sit and stare at 3 passed out people.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
I would just go, all right. What are we going to do? I'd go take a shower or something. I'd kill some time. And then I kind of wake everybody up. I'm like, hey, can I go get breakfast? I remember one common thing with this relationship was that I was the one who was always going, hey, can we go do some shit? Hey, can I go?
Wait. So like he was sleeping over at the house? Okay. Yeah, that's right. He was bringing his kids over, wasn't he? Yeah, we got to play that again.
Andy, what you don't understand is this man was streaming at that point 1 or 2 days a week.
Okay.
He had a trust fund.
Yeah.
And that's very stressful.
Oh yeah. Oh man, life's tough, bud. Life's tough.
I want to ask.
There were some times with Nick where as the son of a fucking baker and a lunch lady, I was like, you entitled cunt. Like just fucking man up and handle your shit.
Yeah.
Like
So I gotta ask, like, what? Because you were there a lot or a fair amount. What is like a day in the life of Rekieta? Like, is he mostly high, like all the time?
I can tell you what I saw from time to time. Again, everything I'm telling you, I don't want to get into speculation. Everything I'm going to tell
whatever
you guys,
saw, whatever
it's
you saw.
firsthand.
Amazing, thanks.
While I too, again, let's remember, while I too was being a degenerate, going outside of his marriage, scandalizing his relationship, scandalizing his children, all of these terrible things, being a bad father, being a bad husband. But a day in the life was this. I would get up. I'm an early riser. I do a morning show. I would get up on a weekend, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
So he's implying that like he just lived at Rekieta's house, like for the past for like this period of time. Like what? Like what? Like I don't know if people are like catching this, but yeah.
Morning, and I would just sit and stare at 3 passed out people.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
I would just go, all right. What are we gonna do? I'd go take a shower or something.
He kicked April out. That is a lie, right? Like that is not true. Like, no. Yeah, I do not believe that. No. No, I do not believe that like he kicked her out. No. I think that's a cope. Like I think she left. I think that's like proven at this point. Like he's just lying.
Something. We kill some time. And then I kind of wake everybody up like, hey, can I go get breakfast? I remember one common thing with this relationship was that I was the one who was always going, hey, can we go do some shit? Hey, can I go get this? Can I go to I was
You
restless.
fed the kids, right? You
I
fed
wanted
them
to get out of the
again.
fucking house and do some shit.
Wait, where were the kids during all this, by the way?
They would wake up later, but they would still come and knock on the bedroom door.
Whoa.
By the way, we slept 4 of us to a bed.
What the?
Like, we all slept in the same bed.
Yeah,
I would sleep
okay.
with Kayla. Nick would sleep with April.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the sleeping
That was
arrangement.
the sleeping
Wow.
arrangement. Was
What?
April and I on the ends, Nick over by April, Kayla over by me. So sometimes in the morning,
Eat with the
the
kids.
kids would knock on the door and say either I'm hungry or this or that. I would say more times than not, I would go out and I would get them some food, something like that, because everyone else got up a little
Wow.
later than I did. Then there would be times where there would be fighting in the bedroom, or, you know, people were doing whatever they were doing in the bathroom, and someone would want something, and I would, more often than not, it was usually me who went and got it.
Wow.
I was just not into, like I said on my show, I did coke 3, maybe 4 times in total the entire time. Probably 4 lines, 4 bumps in total the whole time I was there. I did develop an affinity for Molly. It just seemed I wouldn't drink.
Pills
and I would
or powder?
I hate powder. I hate it. One time they had me do the licking thing.
The licking thing, yeah.
Like,
You
so
wanted
every
more
time after that,
control.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Nick use papers and wrap it in like pill form, and I would
Okay.
take it that way. I preferred it that way. And what I would do is I just wouldn't drink that night. I'd pound water and Gatorade, and I would chill because everything was so dramatic and everything else. I would have fun. I would enjoy myself.
Yeah.
But I'd still realize, holy shit, dude, you're 37 years old and you're a father of 3. Cut the fucking shit. So after
So where were their kids though? Like, it's just okay.
about half a dozen times of that, done with that too.
So let me ask you, what was the general sense? Do you
Well, that contradicts what he said already, right? Like she said, for a long time he was pretending that April was going to come back, right? And then like when that was clear that wasn't going to happen, he had changed the story to like that he was divorcing her. Like again, Aaron is a chronic liar, and like I really think we need to emphasize this. Like I think he is not telling us a lot in this clip. I don't believe him at all. Like
think of how aware the kids were that their parents were on drugs all the time?
I don't think they knew. I don't think they knew.
Really?
I don't.
How about the sense of 2 people? There's a new couple in the bedroom sleeping with them. Like no one, even the high school kid wasn't like, what the fuck is going on there?
That I can definitely, I would say, if I'm just putting myself in their shoes, they're thinking, that's fucking goofy.
Yeah.
let's see.
You know, like that's a little bizarre.
How old
We
was
don't
the oldest
know.
one? How old was the oldest one?
Am I telling any tales out of school here? If I
No,
it's
it's known the oldest kid was 16, right?
okay,
so
yeah,
he
yeah,
knows something's happening. Like let's.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, Legal Mindset about to go live. Not sure this means Nose Guard Burns coming on, but Legal Mindset seems promising to not Nose Guard for Nick, especially since he and Nick had a falling out months ago. Let's see. Okay.
You know, like you're 16, your parents.
Every single one of those 5 kids, angels. Every single one of them, great kids.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, they had to know. I mean, it's
Well, you're 16, your parents are sleeping with 2 other people daily, and there's like,
Strangers.
Yeah.
you know.
Let me ask you this: how were you introduced to the kids? Is it like this is Uncle Aaron and Auntie April, or this is
Mr. Aaron and Mrs. April.
right? And that
The-
was like, what was the official story as to why you were around all
Friends.
the time?
Friends, just really good friends.
Right. Okay. Were there any other friends that would come around, or were
No.
you the only ones in this arrangement at this time?
No.
Do you know if
Maybe
anybody
that's
else?
maybe that's what Nick meant by aggressively monogamous.
Mhm.
No.
Do you know if he had done this with any other couples? Did he tell you like, "Don't worry, we've done this with somebody else before"?
You know, this is a really funny story. One time we were at my house, and you know, I only have my kids 50% of the time, so it was easy to come to our house when there were no kids. And that was important to me. Yeah, fuck it, we'll get into it later.
Yeah.
With the couch story. But as far as the swinging experience and this and that, Nick and Kayla sat April and I down probably about a month and a half, 2 months into what we were doing, and they went, "Guys, we feel terrible. Feel like we've lied to you. We have a little more experience with this than we let on." And they talked about some of their experiences in Jamaica and this and that and some other things. And we're like, April and I are looking at each other and we go, "Yeah, we've read the internet. We kind of know this already." It was really weird because April and I were like, "Yeah, we
Can you get into some of the details of what exactly he said when he sat you down for this?
Let's go.
Oh,
Let's-
Nick, I hope you go to fucking prison because otherwise you're gonna be at my house.
This move, bud. This move.
He's a $140. I could break him in half.
Okay.
Oh no.
Let's hear
So-
it.
He did tell me a story about he and Kayla were excited to get into it with other couples. But unfortunately, because of his consumption of cocaine and Molly,
It was soft.
He was
Kayla was-
soft. He had
Kayla was
coke
able-
dick.
Kayla was able to perform. Nick was not.
Oh.
And that was a very traumatic experience.
Oh,
And this,
no.
and this was with
No.
a black couple.
I don't know. I have no
You
idea.
should make it.
Most
I-
likely.
This is all I.
Was this at hedonism, or is this a
This was
different?
this was the resort. Yeah.
Wait,
that
so you're
hedonism?
telling me that this black guy probably was
Don't
banging Okay, this gentleman.
Orski,
was-
you're being a little
Okay,
fucking
okay,
black
okay.
gay
Look,
on me now.
Look, I like to have some fun on the show. Okay, so some guy is banging fucking April and Kayla.
What?
No,
Well-
no. He's banging. So
Oh,
this
sorry,
guy,
Kayla. And
yeah.
sorry. His wife, like
Jesus.
the gentleman's
Yes.
wife, and Kayla. Sorry, not
So there's
April.
a gentleman balls deep in Rekida's wife.
And his wife.
Rekida
Sorry.
tries to get into the other guy's wife,
But he
he's
can't.
soft.
So then both
can't.
women have
So
to go on
what
the.
happened? Did he get laughed at in that circumstance? Do
No,
you
I
know, like,
remember
what
him
was
saying,
the
I will
shame
say
of it?
this. I will say this, guys. And look, I don't like the guy. As I look back on my time with him, it's worse because I think there was a lot of manipulation and shit going on. But I will say this. He did say it was a genuinely traumatic experience for him. And of all the things I'm going to talk about tonight, I really do feel a little bad for sharing that one.
Do you know if he tried to use the baldo after he was limp, or
I don't know.
because
Ashton,
maybe this
I would
is
love to
why
get you more Baldo
the
information. but it's a
speculation
blind
is
spot.
like maybe like this is why he would use the baldo, as he had a recurring issue of being soft.
I can
maybe.
only speak to a couple times where I've
Did you see him personally fail to perform and be soft with April?
You did.
You did.
one time.
Whoa.
Can
Now
you-
wait a minute.
Can
I'm
you
not
tell
saying,
us-
look, I'm not saying there were not times, especially at the beginning for me. I will say I will cop to this personally, where it's a weird thing, it's a weird sexual thing you're into, and there will be some performance anxiety,
Right.
and you need a little help. I will admit to that happened to me a couple of times. 100%.
Was he popping? Was he popping like Cialis
Cialis or
or?
Viagra.
Was it Cialis, Viagra, and stuff?
Once in a great while, I will say again, because at the very beginning, I was like, I'm really anxious about this shit. I just want to make sure that if I have any problems, you know, I've got an in case of emergency break glass. And I purchased some things. He already had them.
He already had them.
He already
had. It was a known issue.
Yeah.
And I think when you do cocaine, you gotta have that back.
Yeah, whiskey and shit. Yeah, whiskey, dick. Yeah. Okay.
So there was a really, this is probably one of my favorite moments with the beautiful Kayla Rekieta. We were at our home, of course, no kids. And we had gone out that night. We came back, and Kayla and I, we were upstairs in my bedroom. And this was such a high schooler, fucking gay, fucking romantic, queer thing that happened. We would have sex, and then we'd run out. It was February. It was wintertime in Minnesota. We'd run out onto my deck. We were very hot. We were very warm. And we would run out into the snow, jump into the snow, make a snow angel, and run back inside. It was just this funny gay thing that we did. So laugh, faggot. Go ahead and laugh.
No,
laugh.
It's amazing. Gay. So you and her, it was so romantic. You guys are doing snow angels together in the yard.
And then April.
Isn't that nice?
I said a story like this, like fucking a few months ago when I was drunk. I did that before, so don't worry, it's all good.
We do that. That's not the fun part of the story. The fun part of the story comes when April comes upstairs, as Kayla and I are making all kinds of noise and making snow angels and just being complete homos. April comes upstairs and she goes, "Guys, Aaron," I go, "Yeah." "Do you have anything for Nick? We're having problems."
That must have felt good for you. Huh?
No, I will tell you this, Ashton. Dude, I felt like shit.
No, you didn't.
I really did. At that time, no.
Okay.
Now I think it's fucking awesome. Like,
fair.
You're like, but it's also like there, but for the grace of God, go I. Like, I know early on when we started, I needed a little help because it was degenerate and uncomfortable and anxious. I was anxious, blah, blah, so on and so forth. But this was well into things. I mean, this was just a guy probably drank too much and did a little too much. And I go, I mean, yeah, here you go. And then it turns out nothing ever happened that evening. Meanwhile, Kayla and I are just going to town. I think we made 2 or 3 snow angels that evening. And oof, that's a rough one.
All right. Wait.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's
now,
fucking sad.
I want to ask you. So,
by the way, sweetheart, baby, get out of that house. Save yourself.
Save yourself, April.
No, not April. Fuck April.
Oh, fuck April. Oh, Kayla. Is Kayla welcome to come live with you?
Jesus Christ. No, I can't have a bunch of cokeheads with my fucking kids around.
If she gets clean, if Miss Rekieta gets clean and she wants you, is she welcome?
When Kayla would break down and tell me she wanted this to be done, she wanted this to be over, I told her numerous times, I will take you to groups. I will take you wherever you want to go. Dude.
You want to help her, yeah.
I don't.
What was she upset about? Like, she's being somewhat unspecific about what the actual issue was. To me, it seems like she's just manipulating him. Like
choked up on a fucking stream, but I have survivor's guilt from running out of a burning building and I couldn't pull anybody out. Like I tried. I wanted to pull my wife out at first, but every time I would confront her on cocaine use, it was just this vitriol of, you're a monster, you're a piece of shit, you're evil, you're a bad guy, and you just want to, like, this invective would come at me to the point where, like I said, I gravitated to Kayla because I'm like, this person is showing me affection and understanding, and she wants help, and she thinks I'm good, and I think she's good, and all of these things. I get lost in conversation with this woman. So when Kayla would tell me that she wanted to get out, I would say, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll help you. I'll bring you to a facility. I'll do whatever you need to do. Her biggest thing, and this is such a tragedy now, considering what happened. She said, I can't leave my kids. I remember telling her at one point, I said, imagine if you went away for 30 or 60 days. You left your kids for 30 or 60 days and you came back better than you've ever been. I think that's better for your children. Her own desire to be a mother stood in her way of getting the help she wanted.
Okay, but like, why wasn't she feeding the kids then? Why wasn't she doing basic shit for them? Like, to me, that seems like a cope. Like, to me, that doesn't make any.
Think she
May I ask
genuinely
one question?
Yeah.
Okay, so if say she did leave for 30 days, right? Who would have watched the kids? Surely it wouldn't be Nick
Jesus
himself,
Christ.
right?
Well,
Like that's the
when their
scary
nanny
part.
when their nanny quit on them.
Oh, they're not a quit on them.
Tell
Okay,
us the
Tell
story
us.
of the nanny quitting.
Oh, we don't
Yeah.
know about the nanny quitting?
No, we
No,
don't.
no.
The one who bought $3,000 worth of snacks a week.
Yeah, Nick was denying that she quit. Alyssa confirmed to me that she did quit, but I was highly skeptical of that for a while. So it's interesting to see, like, we finally got some confirmation on that plot line.
It was that one, right?
Yeah, I heard those stories.
Yeah, okay, let's hear it.
They did have good snacks.
I bet.
Fair enough.
I
Fair
bet.
enough.
Oh no, the
Good
snack
fucking
train.
snacks in that house.
The Joe Louis.
No, and the SpaghettiOs were top shelf. I have it.
Aaron was bringing his kids over to the kid's house, by the way. Just so you don't forget.
I'd make a little. I'd go 2 for you, 1 for me. You know. But no, the nanny was, I think, fucking tired of it. Couldn't do it. Actually, no. I remember Kayla sent me a message because she had to sit down with the nanny. The nanny left, and then a few weeks later, I left. And Kayla finally had to sit down with the nanny to ask her why she left. And Kayla was feeling very sorry for herself. And she messaged me and she said, well, I guess I won't say the nanny's name, but she goes, I guess the nanny is the same way you are. She said she just couldn't do it anymore. So I'm
What?
guessing the nanny kind of knew something was up because I was there a lot. April was there a lot. And we'd go right back into the bedroom to hang out. And so I'm sure she thought that was fucking weird. And she's sitting there running the kids around doing all this shit. I'm sure she's a little resentful that there's these 2 other people in the house. We're just hanging out in the bedroom.
How old was the nanny?
Early 30s.
Okay.
She was cute too. I remember she
What
she walked
race?
in,
Spanish, Mexican?
the best one.
Okay.
She was white.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh
I'm
no.
The
kidding.
best one.
Yeah, well,
No.
I mean, was that a joke or was that just,
Well,
you know?
who knows?
No.
I
That's
gotta
my
ask you.
misleading, so we're
So,
blacks and Jews. Am I right?
yeah, I know. Did you notice a difference in the cleanliness of the home after the nanny or maid?
No, the nanny
left?
didn't really get into the cleanliness. The nanny's full-time job was just like running the kids around and getting
Right.
groceries and shit. Because
Okay. So Nick never drove anyone around. Is like what I'm. If this is true, so which is really interesting to me because that's what Nick always claimed he was doing, is like driving everywhere, but no, he wasn't doing that.
when you stream once a week, you're too fucking busy to drive your kids around.
Exactly. So we got to ask about this because it was in the police report that it was a dirty home. There were
That
clothes
police
everywhere.
report is a fucking lie. That house is so much fucking dirtier than that goddamn police report said. Those cops went easy on them. I'm sorry.
Tell us. Tell
Okay.
us. Tell us.
Yeah.
You walk into that house. First of all, their observation, dust everywhere, 100%. I remember sweeping. I would sweep the floors. I probably swept the floors 2 or 3
You were a
times.
Jenny.
You
at the action.
literally-
Oh, literally a Jenny.
Here's my thing, guys. I didn't want to sit in that fucking bedroom and bathroom all fucking day. I went out and did housework to keep myself fucking busy and see that the kids were all right.
What? Why were you there?
Fair enough. Yeah.
I would go out, and I also had a couple of missions. I'll talk about those in a second. But I would sweep the
Okay.
floors, dusty as fuck. I mean, dusty roads, baby. I mean, it was bad. And then you'd go to the kitchen island, you know, the counter area, just filled with papers and shit. You can't put anything on it. Then you go to the dining room table. And before I got there, I was so proud of this. I started referring to it as my table. Their dining room table was full of just papers and toys and all kinds of garbage and shit. And to me, like I'm an old school, you know, I was raised old school Americana, like the dinner table, that's where you all gather and everything else. And I'm like, well, let's give these kids somewhere to sit and eat and everything else. So I got the kids together one day,
Oh my God.
and Kayla came out for this too. One thing I was really proud of Kayla on, when I would have projects with the kids to clean stuff up, Kayla would come out and join and be a part of it. And I really thought at one point, I'm like, I'm going to pull this woman out of this shit. I really am. I'm going to help. And it just, there was always a tractor beam back to Nick and the drugs and all that would just pull her back, unfortunately. But with the table, I got all the kids together and we cleaned off that table. I mean, we cleaned off what was garbage. What went to this kid's room. I made individual piles for the kids of their stuff, and they took it down to their rooms. And we get towels and with soap and water. We'd wash the table off, and we swept the floor around the table, and we got it clean. It was great. And I got the kids dilly bars for helping out cleaning.
Wow.
And this was a very foreign concept to them.
Wow.
Because they don't do any chores or anything.
Sure.
So you help them turn the crack house into a crack home, basically.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here as Mr. Nobility. It's like, hey, everyone's still doing blow in the back room, asshole. Good point. You're right, Ashton. But then the sink was always just full of fucking dishes and never done. So I would always, when I would come over after my show or whatever, I would just start going to work on the dishwasher and the sink and trying to keep that thing empty. And you know what the number one thing I always ended up putting in that? You know what that dishwasher was always fucking full of?
Whiskey glasses.
What?
Fireworks.
What?
Just go ahead. Give it your best. What kind of
Sex
dish?
toys?
Was it sex toys?
Right, you went a little deeper than I thought. Whiskey glasses.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Oh man! W for Harvey Smith. Oh man!
Sex toys?
So
There's
he
dildos?
had to make sure the whiskey glasses were clean.
Wait,
But
really?
as for the kitchen table his kids ate at, or the floors that they walked
Oh,
on.
no, I still washed the whiskey glasses. I mean, those weren't getting...
No, I'm saying, but that was the priority.
Yeah.
The priority was the whiskey glasses, not a safe space for his kids.
I mean, the
God
house...
forbid Lord Baldo drink out of a dirty glass, but go on.
And then the laundry situation. This was the biggest crime the police committed, was understating the laundry situation. There was dirty laundry from the laundry room in the middle of the hallway, out the door, around the corner, down the hallway, into the kitchen. Like into the kitchen area. There were dirty clothes. There were clean clothes in the living room, all over the furniture, all over the floor. They would be getting ready to take the kids to dance or something, and they'd be pulling out, like looking for tights and pulling in the living room for clothing. And you could...
Yeah, living like that is,
couldn't have company over at this house because where would you have them sit down? The carpets were disgusting, never cleaned, never vacuumed, anything like that. I vacuumed their upstairs carpets once. It was an exercise in futility. I never did it again.
Tell us why. Why was it an exercise in futility with the carpet?
Because there were, stains in it. It was so dirty.
It's like daily though. It was just like okay, you'd vacuum it next day or 2 days later.
It was more like the damage has been done.
Oh wow, so it's that bad. That bad. Okay.
And here's the saddest part: beautiful home. Anybody who worked for their money and actually valued what they had would thank Christ every day that they had this home. And this one was just treated like fucking shit.
Yeah. How about the mold? Was there mold? Did you see mold?
I didn't see mold.
All right, because the police said that there was mold in it too, which is kind of fucking,
I'll take their word. I'll take their word for it. They found cocaine. I'm sure they're not lying about that. That'd be funny. That's something Rekieta would defend too. He'd like, look, guys, there was no mold in the house. That's horseshit. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean,
yeah. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Well, Rekieta actually would justify licking the bottle because he didn't want to get the carpet dirty. I guess that was a lie too, eh? Why do you think he licked the bottle?
Fucking guy? What's
why
that?
Why do you think he licked the bottle?
Because he's a hopeless alcoholic. Kayla would cry about this.
Really? Tell us about that.
We were down in the studio once, and Kayla was sharing with me a theory that she had. She said, Aaron, I swear to God, I think this whole thing was put together so Nick and April could be together. I think they set this up so that the two of them could be together. And
okay, that is interesting.
And she got me kind of thinking it. But like, again, I didn't mind because now my wife had gotten on coke and Kayla was being the fucking sweetest woman in the world. So I was like, I at one point I was just like, I got the better end of this deal. I'm happy, And, but she was in the studio one night and her and I were talking and she was on her She's on her knees and she picks up 2 bottles and she slams one of them down and she goes, "He's a fucking alcoholic. I swear to God." And she just kind of broke down for a little bit. And we just had this conversation about, like, can we
Yeah,
get him?
she has she seems prone to these emotional breakdowns. It's interesting.
Help? Can we do anything? He doesn't think he has a problem. He fucking drinks all the goddamn time. There would be times where it'd get really tense where Nick would come in with a drink and Kayla would say something like, "Nick, it's 10:30 in the morning." And Nick would go, "Ugh." And I'm sitting between the two of them and I'm like, oh, this is like a kid whose parents are about to fight. And I'm just like, oh, I have a tummy ache.
May I ask? Okay, I want to ask you something. So there are some people who are skeptical of your stories, right?
Sure.
So like there's that guy. I don't even know who the fuck he is. Melton.
Patrick Melton, yes.
Okay, he likes talking about you, right? Some of his people are all over Twitter, right? And they're like, oh, they're believing what? So what would you say to people who don't believe your story?
I was doing cocaine. I was doing Molly.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah, Aaron didn't mention that. Like, his story was that they met them together. So, okay, that is interesting.
I was being a terrible father. I was in this house at the same time. In no way am I absolving myself of any guilt. At any time I was there, I could have taken those 5 kids, called CPS myself, and gotten them help. I engaged in all of it.
Why didn't you?
Yeah.
Because I'm a piece of shit who will pay for that until the day I fucking die. Up until the day before the arrest, I was on the phone with people going, guys, should I call? I know what's going on, but I also know how this makes me look. I was a chicken shit. I was a fucking coward.
Let
Yeah.
me just think, listen.
Yeah, he was nose guarding for Ricada for a long time. Don't believe this bullshit. Don't believe this
bullshit. We don't need to hear all that shit. We're here to be on your side today.
What I'm saying is, Andy asked me to respond to those.
I know.
People.
Well,
Like,
I'm just asking because there are people like in chat and people who are wondering, oh, if you are lying. I don't think you're lying. These stories sound very consistent to what we've seen.
I'm interested because a lot of people, they ask like, how into this was Kayla? Like, do you think she was originally against Nick's drinking and drugs and she was dragged into the lifestyle? Or was she just right there with it the whole time and pushing for it?
Here's one time in this whole thing to prove this isn't just a shit on Nick Ricada fest. And boys, again, I can only tell you what I've experienced firsthand. What I heard, what the story Nick told me. And I cannot remember if I got confirmation of this from Kayla or not. But the story Nick told me is that around the time that he turned 40, Kayla either started doing these things or wanted to start doing these things because she thought that's what Nick wanted in a woman because of the things he would talk. Oh, that's what it was. He said that Kayla started doing these things because she thought that's what he wanted. Now, Kayla would expound on that and go, well, I was only listening to his show and listening to the things he said and listening to the kinds of people he talked to.
Yeah. I'm going to press exit that on that. Because surely they were doing drugs in college. That's my thing. Like, that's something that Nick emphasized when, like, he was trying to justify this behavior, is that, like, I want to return to what I was doing in my early 20s, right? That's kind of his justification for this, right? And to me, I don't believe this is a recent thing for Kayla. I think this has been going on for a very long time. I think she had Aaron around her little finger, like had him just where she wanted him to be her emotional tampon.
And I thought that was the kind of woman he wanted. I just wanted to be the woman that I thought Nick wanted. And that kind of led to this. And then Nick just leaned the fuck in.
Is that what Nick's worst day ever was? Or do you know what his worst day ever was?
His worst day ever?
Yeah.
The stream?
Yeah, when he said like I had my worst day ever, and then that's like led to this decline. Is that what that was, or do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Ada has referred in the past to having a worst day ever, and I was wondering if you had any insight into that.
I would think it would be when I let another man fuck my wife, but apparently that was
so a lot.
Yeah, we still don't know what the worst day ever was. Like, I can't believe we still haven't figured this out. Like, this pisses me off. We can't even find the clip. Like I asked Alyssa, and like we couldn't find it. Like it's like
A lot of people in the chat are asking about Kiwi Farms. How much do you blame Kiwi Farms for all of this happening to you guys?
None. I feel like they were reporting.
So you don't feel like they made you guys, you know, swing or do coke or anything? Because that's what a lot of law tubers are saying, is that this is all the fault of Josh.
Yeah, and then he
Moon
spiraled or
Joey
whatever because
Farms.
yeah.
Fuck these simp cunt assholes. Nick has loved every fucking minute of it and never once has wanted to stop. As a matter of fact, a few weeks ago, the last time I saw Kayla in person, I don't know if Nick and April know I saw her. I'm not sure. But this was
Okay.
after I had departed. I met her on neutral ground. It was great to see her again. And she told me the story of how she had told Nick. And this is so fucking tragic because this may in fact be the batch they got caught with. Kayla said to me, Aaron, it's done. It's over. She even said to me, Aaron, I hope you're proud of me. I've been clean for days now. I said, I had tears in my eyes, and I'm so fucking proud of you for that. Because that's all I wanted from any of them. Like when I said I couldn't come back, I'm like, guys, I have kids who don't want to come to your house anymore. I can't, I'm hanging around my friends right now. See, the thing about hanging out with people addicted to drugs is that you get shut off from everyone else around you. And I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of family. I like hanging out with them. And I know, Ashton, I'm getting away from it here for a second. But when I told them I wasn't coming back, I was like, guys, I'm in my backyard right now. There's kids all over the lawn. They're playing with their friends. I've got friends and family and neighbors over here. I can't leave this again. I love this shit.
okay.
Shit. We'll get to that later because that's when the
Yeah.
Nick kill yourself.
Did
message came in.
Ricada
So anyway,
say stuff about Kiwi Farms in private? Like,
Oh,
would he
yeah.
see?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, can you give us some examples of times he would seethe about it privately?
Yeah.
Well, Andy, let's talk about the thing you and I talked about privately because I'm sure you want to clear this up.
Sure.
The one thing Nick told me, and I got messages whenever I would mention your guys' show, like
Yeah.
when I went over your guys' coverage of the
Okay.
hot tub thing, and I thought it was
jacking me off.
We'll get to that, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know if it got back to you guys, but I watched
Didn't
you guys cover the hot tub thing. I thought it was fucking hilarious because I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, we do look like fags. Like, there's no getting around it. It's a fucking cringe thing. It was my idea. It didn't fucking pan out. Those three would defend it to the hilt. I'm like, guys, we look fucking ridiculous. And everything that came out of my mouth, I remember going, this is criminally unfunny. Like, this is really.
Okay, hold on. Let's go into the decision to do this
No,
hot tub
that's
stream.
fine. I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
I'm going to get to this because I'm doing a terrible job. Andy, Nick would always tell me the reason I don't like Worski is because he went on the air and he said that when Kayla was walking him back to his room, he said on the air that she tried to give him a hand job.
I never said that. What I said was when I was drunk in Knoxville at the bar, and there are witnesses to this, she was getting really touchy-feely and flirty with me with Nick there. It made me uncomfortable because Nick was like watching, and I was fucking fucked out of my mind. I never said that she jacked me off. I said that she was getting like flirty and touchy, and Nick was like looking over like, and then I brought that story up because I was like when we were hearing about all the stories about them possibly swinging, I'm like, oh, maybe, I mean, like she did seem like she was down to probably fuck other guys and being flirty with people. In fact, she was being flirty with me and touching me and stuff. I never said jack off. I never said jack
Who
off.
do you think was the driving force behind the decision to open their marriage? Do you think Kayla was pushing for it, or do you think Nick was pushing for it?
You know, it's difficult because I know they were both unhappy. But I also know Nick has a way of making things Kayla's idea that maybe weren't necessarily Kayla's idea. I think Nick knows he's smarter than her, and he kind of uses that. So, I mean, I will say this. I think Nick Rekieta, borderline a monster. I really do. I think he's a bad dude. I don't think he has the ability to feel empathy towards anyone but himself. I think it might be a clinical condition. I mean, the guy is because he's convinced he's right.
Let me
You'll
ask you
never
something.
hear the kind of guilt I'm
Now-
espousing right now espoused by him.
You
ever.
said
But
this in DMs. You said that he was a Warren Jeffs tier
cult leader.
cult leader.
Yeah.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is if you like when I said I wanted to leave, he treated it like I was leaving the fucking Manson family. Like I said, I'm not coming back. And his fucking words were, "You led my wife on."
What?
And I'm like,
What? What the fuck?
I'm like, I led your wife. What? I led your wife on? Which was a weird fucking thing to say. And then when I said, dude, I can't do it anymore. My kids don't want to be there. If my kids don't want to be there, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. And April had left.
Why do his kids need to be there? Like, just
by this point. So she was done. So I was like, this is a clean break. I can be done with April. She can be done with me.
wait, hang on. Wait a minute.
You know, it's difficult because I know they were both unhappy. But I also know Nick has a way of making things Kayla's idea that maybe weren't necessarily Kayla's idea. I think Nick knows he's smarter than her, and he kind of uses that. So, I mean, I will say this. I think Nick Rekieta, borderline a monster. I really do. I think he's a bad dude. I don't think he has the ability to feel empathy towards anyone but himself. I think it might be a clinical condition. I mean, the guy is because he's convinced he's right.
Let me ask
You'll
you
never
something.
hear the kind of guilt I'm
Now-
espousing right now espoused by him.
You
ever.
said
But
this in DMs. You said that he was a Warren Jeffs tier
cult leader.
cult leader.
Yeah.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is if you like when I said I wanted to leave, he treated it like I was leaving the fucking Manson family. Like I said, I'm not coming back. And his fucking words were, "You led my wife on." And I'm like,
What? What the fuck?
I'm like, I led your wife. What? I led your wife on? Which was a weird fucking thing to say. And then when I said, dude, I can't do it anymore. My kids don't want to be there. If my kids don't want to be there, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. And April had left by this point. So she was.
So yeah. April had left by this point. So that a bit of a slip of the tongue there. So yeah, he didn't kick her out, she left. But that also begs the question of why he was in the house having this conversation with Rekieta after April had left. Like, like it's just like, so they were going to continue with the relationship with the Requietas even after the divorce, even after they split up. Like, what sense does that make, right?
Was done. So I was like, this is a clean break. I can be done with April. She can be done with me. The kids can be done. They didn't like April anymore because the drugs had made her, I'll say, love the kids when it was convenient for her. Okay. And they noticed that. And they knew that she wasn't as active in their lives anymore. And my
cult leader.
Yeah.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is
cult leader. Cult leader.
Dude, I can't do it anymore. My kids don't want to be there. If my kids don't want to be there, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. And April had left by this point, so she was done. So I was like, this is a clean break. I can be done with April. She can be done with me. The kids can be done. They didn't like April anymore because the drugs had made her, I'll say, love the kids when it was convenient for her. Okay. And they noticed that. And they knew that she wasn't as active in their lives anymore. And my oldest started to resent her. So I was like, you know what? This is a good time to call it. Nick lashed into this invective on Signal where he started saying, you flabby, fat, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just starts going into these laundry list of descriptive physical features. And then goes, why don't you do the whole world a favor and kill yourself?
Whoa.
And I'm sitting in bed. I read that. And I finally, literally the last thing I ever said to Nick Rekieta was, LOL, okay, addict, and then blocked him. That was it.
May I ask you, why didn't the kids want to be there? Like, what behaviors did they see?
Their parents weren't ever around. Like, they were like, Dad, you're the only one who ever comes out to check on us or anything. We don't play with you. We don't hang out with anybody. You know, we're on our tablets. It's not fun. We don't want to, because everyone was in the bedroom the whole time.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I
People didn't
have
give
a
a
question
fuck.
here from someone. Yeah. So, okay, the gun charges, the shell casing. Could you explain any of this at all?
I'll tell you this. It was actually the police report was the first time I ever heard that I was sleeping on a bed that had an AR under it. Like, if I would have known that, I would have fucking freaked the fuck out and said, there's fucking, my kids come here and fucking play. Can we get that locked up, please? If I knew there was fucking ammunition and a loaded gun under the bed, you understand that their children come into that bedroom to hug their parents goodnight? And there's a fucking gun underneath the bed? I had no idea.
Let me ask you something. With the black eye that Rekieta got, how do you think he got that black eye, or do you know how he got the black eye?
My opinion, because again, I've been gone for 7 weeks at this time. My opinion, Kayla got mad about the live stream and either threw something at him or hit him with something in a fight. I don't know if that's true.
Did
but
you ever?
Why would she be mad about the live stream though? Like, if she knew that April was fucking Nick, like, why would she flip out about it, right? Like, if she knew about it, if it was consensual, like, why would she out of nowhere just flip, right? To me, like, I've seen no real evidence that there was, like, a sexual relationship between, like, Aaron and Kayla. Like, I just don't. He certainly was there, and he certainly does know, like, all of Nick's, like, behaviorisms, and he's elaborated a little bit more on what his relationship with Kayla is actually like, but, like, I don't necessarily believe him when he says he was like, oh, I raw dog Kayla like every night for like 2 months. Like, nobody, I don't believe that. Like, it just doesn't gel with me.
For witness Rekieta?
Like, she's giving all these like deep conversations about him, about how she wants a better life for herself and a better relationship with her husband, and he's like, fucking, like, it doesn't make any sense.
Like her throwing something at Rekieta or her hitting Rekieta.
He told stories to me about how she'd thrown things at Nick.
Can you tell me some of
The Sonichu demon? Ha! Maybe. Because then the world knew. It was posted on Kiwi Farms that April was under desk. April's voice can be heard. Yeah, so what does it matter if, like, people were speculating she was living there before that, though. Like, that was just like the confirmation that like April was like the primary suspect to be the corner demon before it was confirmed to be her. So, like, I don't understand why, like, the whole reveal was like such a big deal. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't, again,
some of those stories, or at least one of those stories?
She was fighting with him about something, and she threw books at him. She's such a smart girl. I love her. A fucking firecracker. She took books out that were like the sanctity of marriage and like a lovely, happy household. She would pick those books specifically and throw them at them and say, like, you give a fuck about any of this, you asshole. And she would tell me those stories, and I was like, I like this bitch.
I like that too. That's really taking it to a whole new level.
Meta. Meta fighting.
We didn't get a
so she was bragging about throwing things. Like, come on, bro. That's a red flag if I ever saw one.
Answer on this. Can you tell us some times that he would seethe about Kiwi Farms or Josh
Kiwi
privately?
Farms. He would tell me, like, the stories I've read on Kiwi Farms, because I only got into Kiwi Farms probably the last week or so. What a week to get into it. I had tried to go on it before, but I found it, my old Midwestern ass, hard to navigate unless I knew exactly what I was looking for. So I would hear people, I only heard his take on the Josh shower text story. Right. Nick would always explain these. Now that I've read Kiwi Farm's take on this, I realize Nick was always explaining these to me like he was on the witness stand, like defending himself. Yeah. And he would be like, well, I was just in the shower one time and Josh was freaking out at me in text messages. So I just decided to text him from the shower. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, dude, I've never heard about any of this. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. So I think it definitely bothered him.
Would you ever bring up an individual post and be like, I can't believe what this fucking guy said, or this is bullshit?
Not that I can remember. Not that I can remember.
How about John? Did he ever talk about John?
No,
John.
the first time I heard about John was the fucking rant he went on a while back. And I remember the next day I saw Kayla and she was like, I'm so fucking mad. She goes, I never watch his show. I finally decided to watch and he's doing that and he's really fucking hammered and I'm so fucking mad at him right now. Which is a weird place for me to be because I always kind of respected the unspoken rules about what we were doing. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to bash your fucking husband. And I don't think those rules were respected on the other end, old fucking Warren Jeffs. I think anytime April had a complaint about me complaining about her drug use, Nick was more than happy to be the shoulder to cry on. And here, have another bump, Blondie. Why not? He was the lovely Santa Claus with all the snow, and I was
do you
Krampus
just because you called him Warren Jeffs again? Do you want to explain who Warren Jeffs is?
Was he the sex? He was the sex cult guy, right?
He was like in the Church of Latter-day Saints, and he was obsessed with making the other men's wives his lover, and he also had like child sex offenses against him.
No, none of that. I just mean the cult leader aspect of it. I would have said Charles Manson, but he didn't ask anyone to kill for him. He just has a lot of like.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Going by this is that like she wanted the wholesome family image, even if it didn't reflect the reality. Yeah, that's the implication I'm getting from this.
He knows what buttons to push with vulnerable people, and he pushes them.
Right.
He couldn't do it with me. He and I fought a lot because I would go, that's fucking bullshit. And Nick throws a fit when you don't buy into what he wants all the time. I remember he yelled this at me all the time. He goes, why don't you just stop lying and be honest with yourself? I'm like, what, you want me to just tell you you're right and we'll just move on? Is that what you want? You know, I mean, when it came to April, I know there were times where she brought up issues we were having, and they came from, Aaron wants me to stop doing coke. I think it's fun. He's a piece of shit. And Nick would go, have another bump, sweetie, and tell me all about it. You know? Nick wants people to drink and do drugs with, like any addict does.
What do you think about this Kayla charge of like child abuse or negligence? What do you think that is? If you had to speculate?
I really hope that maybe she just yelled something out while the cops were there that got misunderstood. Because I've never once seen Kayla be violent towards those children. I've never seen her be inappropriate towards those children. I've only seen her love her kids.
Have you seen Nick be violent towards the children or neglect the children or abuse them?
I mean, neglect. I mean, the whole thing's fucking neglect. Everything was neglect.
But
never abuse. No, never abusive towards them.
Yeah, because we're just wondering what that charge is about, and nobody can seem to make heads or tails of it. Maybe it was just that it was such a shit. We just don't know. We just don't know. So I was hoping you might be able to.
I don't know what that could be.
Okay, what about the homeschooling of the kids? Like, how did that work? Was Kayla active in that at this point, or was she just kind of strung out all the time?
It's like a homeschool collective.
Right. What does that mean?
The kids go to like a church school kind of a thing, or they go to someone's house, or they have different teachers, like different parents inside the collective, the co-op teach. And so you'll go to different places. And I remember Nick was teaching for a little bit. He got kicked out of it. The school kicked him out of teaching because he's a fucking degenerate on his program for everybody to see.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I remember one night he punched a hole in his bathroom wall, bitching about the collective kicking him out of teaching. And I remember saying to him and Caleb both, I was like, dude, you understand. Like, they had every reason.
That was a while ago, though, wasn't it? So it seems weird to me that he would spontaneously do that, but
they kick you out. If they watched my show when I was teaching, I would hope they would kick me the fuck out. One of the big differences between Nick and I was that I knew what I was, and Nick thought he was like a fucking clergyman, I guess. Right. I don't know. Like, I was like, Nick, you understand we're garbage, right? Like, you understand we're shit. Like, we're degenerates and all of this. And like, there's, we got work to do. And he would go on his stream and pontificate about family and all this other shit. Sometimes it made me want to fucking puke. It still does. I remember one time he said, I might start a religious podcast. And I remember looking at Kayla, I go, if he starts a fucking religion podcast, I'm duty bound to stop it. That's not okay.
Now, do you know, like, speaking of the church and all of that, do you know how much intervention they tried to do with Nick? Like, did they sit him down and were like, this is crazy or what? Because the rumors that are swirling around is the mandatory court report or was a pastor at the church, right? Yeah. And people are like, did the pastor try and intervene? Did he talk to Nick? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know a lot about that. I do know if you tried to intervene with Nick, you'd get a giant speech about how right he was.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be like standing in front of a full speed freight train yelling stop. I mean, it wouldn't have done anything.
Do you think Nick actually is religious? Do you think that he actually believes that he's sincere in his faith, or what?
Now you just asked two completely different questions.
Yeah.
Do I think Nick is actually religious? No. I don't think he holds any of the tenets of faith. Do I think Nick believes he is? 100%.
Right.
Okay.
I think he believes it.
Let me ask you, a lot of people have been asking about this. Did he ever talk bad about anybody in LawTube or any of his YouTube friends behind their back?
I know that he'd trash Vic a lot. He'd be really he'd be really dismissive towards Vic. You know,
what would he say?
Just about his sexuality and shit like that.
What?
And like, it was just all very catty. You know, it was nothing like big and earth shattering. It was just, he was always really catty and shitty, and how none of the Vic stuff was his fault, and Vic should have done this and that.
Yeah.
And I remember him being really shitty about that. He hates Alex Stein.
Whoa.
So even years after the fact, he's still complaining about Vic. Honestly. So I think Vic behind the scenes must have kept like Rekieta at arm's length, right? Because he didn't really do a whole lot of interviews with him. He didn't really go on the show during the trial. Ty Beard did, but Vic himself did not. So like to me, it seems like Vic might have had an idea that like Rekieta himself might be a fraud. There were some signs to that. So I find that interesting, but
Why?
Really? Why?
I don't know. The reason he gave was fucking gay, and it was to try and get my wife's pants. Not that he needed to try any harder. We were already fucking each other. But he was like, oh, I was on a stream with April on Chrissy Mayer's program, and Alex Stein came on. He was really rude and mean to April, and that's why I don't like him. I'm like, shut the fuck up, you fucking gay white knight asshole. Like, that's not why. It's like, I'm her husband, and all I did was I DM'd Alex afterwards. I'm like, do you and I have a problem? Do you want to come on the show? Like, what's the deal? Nick's like, white knighting, like, April, you know, I just don't like Alex Stein because he trolled you a little on Chrissy Mayer's show. And, you know, and then April would be like, oh, that's great, Nick. You're such a good man. You know, he hates Alex Stein. He'd be shitty about the Vic thing. Anytime Nick had to post any kind of L, there would always be a long explanation as to why everyone else is wrong and he's right. Kind of like him getting arrested.
The way he always does with anything, though.
Yes.
It's like with anything at this point.
Habitual. He's habitually incapable of taking any responsibility for anything. And boy, you talk about projection. This guy will accuse everyone else of the very things he's incapable of. Every time, without fail. You could set your watch to it.
Do you want to tell us about the parenthood story that made you want to beat his ass? What was it that made you want to beat Rekieta's ass in specific?
I told this story vaguely on the show, but we can get into it fully.
Okay.
If April had not been in my house one day, I may have been arrested first for physically beating someone within an inch of their life. We were at my house. Now, we have to go back to December or November to start this story, because the story happened around February, March. It was before Easter. I know that. After Valentine's Day, before Easter, because I bought Kayla a lovely Valentine's Day gift. And sweetie, sugar, if you're listening, make sure you get out of that house and get free. You've got so much more to offer the world, sweetness. All right, love you.
Did he get April a Valentine's Day gift?
No.
Even PPP is just like fucking really. So on Valentine's Day, so he got her a Valentine's Day present. Like on the hot tub stream, he was saying she hated him. So like again, the timeline. Yeah, I don't know. PPP is starting to get disgusted with his simping. I don't know, man. It feels like he's laying it on thick. It feels like he's faking it to me. I don't know. It doesn't feel genuine. Like the bits about her seething seem real. But like the sex shit itself seems fake to me. Like it's ringing really, 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 really hollow. Like I don't believe it happened. That's my take. Even after watching hours of this bullshit. So glad I don't have to work tonight. Uh yeah, I'd like to get to this interview, but like, man, I should have done it hours ago. But oh well. I don't know, man. If he's lying about banging Kayla, that means the entire story about like being in a polycule is made up, right? So I don't know, man. Like I don't believe him when he says he like banged Kayla, but then like if he didn't do that, then what substance do any of his stories have? Really, it's like the entire thing feels kind of fake and gay to me. The most interesting thing about it is that like everyone seems to be acting really in character. Like, so I think like some of these like everyday occurrences happened. I just don't think there was yeah.
Oh,
What a prick.
what a fucking asshole! I got Kayla Star Trek action figures.
Which
Fucking-
ones?
I got a con and then some black dude I don't know. But I knew she'd
Cisco?
know. Yeah, it was a Drew Hill collection. No, it was some Star Trek action figures and then some snacks that she likes for her snack drawer next to her bed and for
Next
her
to her
birthday,
bed.
she likes like charcuterie
Right.
snacks and things like that. So I thought, you know what?
When's her birthday? Do we know? That anyway.
Okay, sweetie pie, love of my life, gorgeous. I said, wouldn't it be nice to have something to keep all your snacks cool next to your bed? So you could have them there.
Yeah,
I bought her
very
a nice, like,
thoughtful.
old-timey looking 50s Frigidaire refrigerator and freezer for her bedroom. You know the retro looking ones? Oh,
Yeah.
what a gentleman.
Were you trying to
did
like
you-
steal her like to be your own wife? Would you feel like that was your
Was I
mentality?
trying to steal her?
Like not steal, but like
No.
make
I
her
was not-
fall in love and then make her leave and then like you were I mean, from everything that you're saying, it sounds like you were trying a little bit.
I mean, I'm fucking with Nick a little too. But I mean, really,
Yeah.
I wanted to get her the fuck out of there. I don't know if I
And be with her.
yeah.
And be with her.
We're a little
you know
bit
what?
on
I'll tell you
we're a
this.
little bit sidetracked, but let's go back to the
I'll tell you-
story where you wanted to beat his
Real
ass.
quick, I'll answer
right,
that
quick.
question by saying this. Realistically, there's no fucking way her and I could be together.
Okay.
She's got 5, I've got 3.
Well,
I'd blow my fucking
Fair.
head.
Would you be willing
But
to
I did
step
want to
up?
get her. I wanted to get her the fuck out of that house.
Like
I
let's say Rakeda goes to prison and
Yeah.
she gets off. Would you be willing to step up and help raise
I
the
can't.
5 kids? You
I
can't.
can't get involved with that world anymore.
You
I've
wish
made-
you could.
Brother, I've made too many promises to too many people who have helped pick me up off the floor from this thing who would dump me in a heartbeat, drop me
Fair
flat.
enough. But at
if I
that
would've
time
done it.
you would have.
A
At
lot
that
of
time you
people-
would have,
Oh,
right?
At that time, I would have jumped in front of traffic for this
There
woman.
we
Are you
go.
kidding
That's
me?
what I wanted to- yeah.
loved her. Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely.
Let's finish that
All right,
story.
back to the story where you're gonna beat his ass or whatever.
So the
yeah.
first time they came over, one of the first times they came over to our house, we're standing in the kitchen, and I'm already not comfortable with the cocaine thing. If I would have known when we started how into blow Nick Rekieta and everyone were, I wouldn't have done this because I had no idea. But he takes the little bullet, the little container of cocaine out of his
I bet he was high as a kite during all this. Like,
pocket, puts a little line down for himself on my kitchen counter, and just takes it up. And I look at him and I go, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, what? I go, I got 3 fucking kids and an ex-wife who, if she found a speck of that shit in my home, my kids would be gone fucking tomorrow. Don't ever bring that shit into my house again. Okay, I understand. Yeah, I get it. No, I'm a lawyer. I get that.
I'm a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer,
So-
bro.
That's funny.
I'm a real forensic attorney, bro.
I mean, did a great job of showing up for traffic court, didn't he? Good
Yeah,
job, brother.
exactly.
Thanks. My State Farm bill fucking appreciates it. You know. But so then fast forward a couple months later. I'm walking around downstairs. My kids are there. No Ricada kids are there. My children are there.
Uh-oh.
And I'm just walking around checking on them. You know, what are you doing? All this stuff. I think I had made waffles that morning, and I was cleaning up from making the waffle. I hear Nick yell, April, we made one for you. And it was coming from upstairs. And I'm like, well, I know they ain't making fucking muffins and shit. And I walk upstairs. You know that feeling you get where you go, don't be right. Don't be right.
Yeah.
Don't be right.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Please.
I'm walking upstairs, and I see the mini safe that I know the cops eventually confiscated one day, open on my bathroom, my bedroom bathroom counter, full of drugs. I didn't yell at Nick and Kayla right then and there. The kids were downstairs. I didn't want to cause a scene. I walked down the stairs. I go, April, could you come into the kitchen, please? April comes into the kitchen. I'm irate. I go, I told them to never bring any fucking drugs into this house, and they have the entire container full of fucking coke, and they said they just made one for you, so you had to know this was going on. And she looks at me, she goes, oh, I had no idea, but you're right. That's bad. I'll go talk to them.
They brought
Not
a safe?
angry, not irate, not, hey, my 3 stepkids, who I claim to love more than life itself. Not like, get the fuck out of here, you lunatics. It was, oh, I will go talk to them. Like she was HR, you know, going to discipline someone for smelling a lady's chair or something. So she does that. I'm fucking losing my mind. I go downstairs to be away from everybody. And to come and console me from how angry I am, who do you think would come down to talk to me about this?
Kayla.
Oh, see, I would think my wife would come down to console me and talk to me about this and figure out what was going on. But yes.
Yeah.
Well, after
The
seeing
dear
the whole
sweet-
story, yes.
Yeah.
The dear sweet,
Yeah.
lovely Kayla came down, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry. This is wrong. I apologize. I forgot. We're so sorry. You asked us not to, and we didn't respect that, and blah, 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 blah.
I forgot. Like, this is kind of a big thing to forget.
Made me feel better a little. And I'm like, okay, you know what? We'll continue
Yeah, it does sound like she's manipulating him, honestly.
on with our day. I go, but that fucking happens again. I'm out of here. Now, in that moment, I should have been done. It should have been it. Before anyone goes, oh, Aaron's just a rat who thinks he's a saint. No, I fucked up. I failed in that moment right there. But then I go upstairs into the middle floor. I go to check on my youngest, the 4-year-old. And by the way, before anyone goes, should you really be telling these stories? My ex-wife has been such a fucking trooper. I have talked to her about I've come clean to her about everything. She's been great. She's just glad that I got, you know, our children out of there and everything else. I go up.
Yeah, I bet she's speaking to her attorney about this. Yes, now we'll have full custody of the kids. But anyway.
To the 4-year-old to check on her. And I see a navy blue container right next to her. And I pick it up, and in my head, I'm just going, it's Bubbles. It's Bubbles. It's got to be Bubbles. The kids are playing with Bubbles or something.
No.
I walk towards the kitchen. I start unscrewing the lid, and I'm audibly out loud saying, no, don't. Full of cocaine.
It was the bullet, right?
It was the bullet.
He left it in the couch.
He was sitting on the couch watching something.
On
and it
purpose?
just sat there. No, it just fell out of his pocket and sat there next to my fucking 4-year-old after I'd asked him not to bring this shit into my house. So didn't respect. By the way, this is why fuck this guy. Bury him under the jail.
Wait, it was next to your
This guy didn't
kid?
respect me a fucking wink. Didn't bat an eye. What's that, Andy?
It was next to your kid?
It was next to my 4-year-old.
Oh my God. It's over. Nick.
I yelled for April to come down. I said, April, and I just held it out like this. And she goes, oh my God. I go, yeah, oh my God. Everybody out now. And I give it to her. She runs it up. I send a text to her. I go, I want everyone out of the fucking house. I could not be more upset. And
yeah. So
Kayla, I go out to the garage. It's Minnesota. It's chilly. And I'm sitting there. I got a blanket on because I'm just thinking, like, how do I not go and kill Nick Rekieta? Like, how do I not fucking beat this guy within an inch of his life? I'm not going to make a scene in front of my kids. But the animalistic part of me was like, just pummel him. Just beat the fuck out of him.
yeah.
Kayla comes out to the garage. Again, tears in her eyes. And I said, Kayla, this is it. Like, it's got to be that shit or me. Like, I'm out of here. She goes, no, you're right. It has to stop. It's done now. We have to cut it out. We have to be done. It's got to be over. This is too much. We could have killed one of the kids, blah, 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 blah. Yes, wonderful. Thank you. April goes upstairs to be with Nick, to make sure poor Nicky's okay because he feels so bad about almost killing a 4-year-old. Kayla and I sit there playing board games with the kids the rest of the afternoon until they have to leave. April never once comes down to say a word. I go up to say goodbye to April. Nick and Kayla have left for a little while. I go upstairs to tell April I'm taking the kids. She's sitting in the shower sobbing. Somehow, this has all become my fault because I was mean to her and I told her to leave the house. And how dare you do that? And Nick's really sorry, you know. And I went, you're going to fucking make excuses for him after all this shit. Took the kids back. The rest of that whole night is a blur because it was a disaster. It was filled with fights and screaming and yelling. I know Kayla threw a fucking drink, an iced tea from Popeyes in Nick's face. I know that Nick started hitting himself again like a fucking ape. Oh, I got to tell you the baseball bat story too.
Go ahead.
That was the bullet. That was the bullet story.
Tell us the baseball bat story.
The baseball bat story.
We're out one night. This is where I got to be like Sting. This is exciting.
Okay.
We're out one night. We're coming back. And it's pretty well understood that Kayla and I are going to go upstairs when we get back. Nick and April can do whatever it is they do. But Nick has this weird thing where he wants Kayla to say it. Like he's texting her, what do you want to do when we get back? It's already been established what's going to happen, like what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Kayla's like, oh, you know, we're going to go hang out upstairs. Who's we're? You mean me or you mean Aaron? And she's like, well, and then it starts this big fight. They start fighting about it via text.
No.
Because he wanted for some, I don't know if it's a sick, weird thing that he's got where she needs to say that she wants to fuck me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Aaron is like an objectively terrible person. That's the big takeaway here. Fuck everyone involved in this.
But it ends with April and I are upstairs and we hear shouting in our front yard, which is fucking embarrassing. You don't want your neighbors hearing a fucking domestic in your front yard. So April and I go out there and Nick is yelling at Kayla going, hit me, fucking hit me, fucking hit me, fucking hit me. He's screaming fucking hit me at Kayla.
Yeah.
And I get Kayla separated from him. April gets Nick separated from Kayla. And I go, hey, get in the fucking house. Enough with yelling. And he looks at me. He goes, Aaron, you better get the fuck away from me right now. Now, I go about 6'4", 215. Nick's about 6'2", 140. I just got right in his face, laughed at him, and I go, you're not going to do shit. And then I walked in the house. He's losing his fucking mind. So then Kayla gets back in the house. He gets back in the house. Boom, they just start into it again. Just yelling at each other, just blah, blah. At one point, Kayla says to him, and I think she did it to trigger him. I don't know if she was being serious or not, but Kayla says to him, every time I've ever had sex with you, I faked it.
Whoa.
Ow. Whoa.
Oh, he lost
Oh.
What did he say to that?
He fucking lost. What are you fucking talking? He's screaming. He's screeching. Of all the things I've ever heard anyone criticize Nick over, questioning his sexual prowess set him off more than anything else. You could have said he was a cokehead who neglects his kids, and he would have went, well, I've read some articles that say, actually, when you do coke when your kids are around.
better.
He was found out. He never pleased his wife. He was
Oh
always soft.
no,
had
he
to
was
take
exposed.
pills.
Exposed.
What you're saying is it was in fact him who had never made his wife come.
I don't know that.
According to her.
Kayla, that's according to. I
Did
think
Kayla say you were better than Nick in bed?
She never said that. The only thing I ever heard was April once said to me that Nick told her, I've never heard Kayla make those noises before. When he was downstairs and they were upstairs, the night he couldn't perform and we were doing Snow Angels, I guess they had to hear us, which I don't take pride in that. That's not good. I feel bad. Like, that's not something you want to hear. That's a terrible thing to have to experience. But April told me after, she goes, yeah, Nick said he's never heard Kayla make those noises before. And hey, look, that feels good. That feels good.
Tell us about the Super Bowl story.
No, let's do the baseball bat first.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're fighting, and then different parts out of context. At one point, Nick says to Kayla, I'm sorry, I'm just not a good enough lawyer. It's like, Jesus.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Practice.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, this is the only way I can make a living for us. She was talking about how much she hates his show. I hate your show. I hate that you do it. I hate what it's done to us, this and that. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm not a good enough lawyer. And I'm like, Jesus fuck. And I'm sitting here, I got a show in the morning. I'm like, guys, I want to fucking go to bed. Jesus Christ. Because April and I are upstairs. April's genuinely concerned. I'm just sitting here going, this is fucking retarded. April and I are 8 years apart. There's a lot of shit that happened where I'm just like, guys, this is embarrassing. We're 40. And April would be like, no, this is serious. We need to talk about it. I've never heard more people reference killing themselves than this group of people when they're high and like drama happens.
Really?
Oh my God. April's like, you have no idea when we were getting divorced. I wasn't around the kids anymore, which, by the way, she left the kids without saying goodbye, left me to have that conversation. So fuck you and your attitude towards the kids, using it when it's convenient for you, when you're not, But she goes, I've asked Nick to kill me so many times. It's like, well, then you guys all need to go get help because that's fucking insane.
She's asked Nick to kill her. Wow.
Oh, and then Nick does this motion 5 times a day. When he's fighting with Kayla or he's frustrated about something.
How often does he hit himself in the head like a spastic?
I saw it 3 times. I saw it 3 times.
Just 3 times.
You saw it, yeah.
So now Nick, then they start fighting again. April and I go upstairs. We're like, this is fucking exhausting. I finally hear yelling again. I go downstairs. He has Kayla cornered.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too late for this. Yeah, definitely a really interesting show. I wish I could like watch all of it, but yeah, I really can't do it. I really should have gone to bed a long time ago, but we're about halfway through. I might come back on later tonight and finish it. But yeah, what an interesting show. Yeah, not sure how much of it I believe, but I think there are grains of truth in there. Like he definitely was around them for some period of time. So again, we're gonna have to like investigate this more thoroughly, I think. Man, I was expecting to find all sorts of holes in his story, but I can't really find a whole lot. I just have like my intuition that he didn't actually fuck Kayla. Like she definitely isn't in love with him, right? So like for me, it's just like, okay, but like I can't prove that shit. It's just my feeling, but. Yeah, other than that, like it seems weirdly consistent with like what we know so far with their behavior and their patterns and stuff like that. Like it seems like an absolute train wreck in general, but yeah, I continue it later. Yep. Yeah, I'll try coming back on tonight and seeing after I take a nap. So